And good afternoon. Welcome back to the Aquabike World Championship Tour Grand Prix of Portugal right here in beautiful Portimao. We are blessed to have a first-time opportunity to be here with the Aquabikes. F1 H2O Series has been racing here for several years, but this is our first time in over a decade for the Aquabikes to be able to come and hang out in this beautiful portside town. Originally a fishing village, has been converted into an amazing tourist mecca. And you could see just some of the gorgeous backdrops that we have been blessed to be hanging out with this last couple of days as we get these bikes prepared. Now, here's a bit of a recap of what's been going on the last couple of days. We started off yesterday into qualifying, and already the surprises came fast and quick with a lot of these racers breaking some times. One of the surprises is going to be a young lady you're going to see coming up next. That is Yasmin E. Prowse, who rocketed out of the qualifiers yesterday, her first two qualifying breaking some records on that, and it was only the very last lap that Emma Nelly Ortendahl was able to sneak around her with a 33 hundredths of a second difference between her and Yasmin E. Prowse to get Emma Nelly Ortendahl with a pole position today. Well, that's the recap on the qualifying. Then we're going to start with what was going on in the first motos. I'll tell you more about that as we get the riders out there. We're just getting staged. Wow, you could see the sleepy tourists. Just kidding. We've got a great shot of the of some of the locals hanging out there. Getting the opportunity to take a look at just some of the great postcards of these incredible pictures of Portimao. We have been very, very lucky to have the opportunity to hang out here for the last several days. Sorry, we had a little bit of a quiet because I'll tell you what's happening. We have a change on the start grid. We're actually going to be changing the way the start is set up. We want to make sure that it is an equal opportunity, a very fair start. So we had had an opportunity to evaluate them after this morning motos. And when we did that, one of the things that we discovered is we have the opportunity here to get this start a little bit longer. And that is going to help out these riders quite a bit. So there is a change on the start grid. I will share that with you in just a little bit when we get the opportunity to look at it. But right now you're just getting some great shots as we begin our live coverage this afternoon for the Aquabike World Championship Tour. We've got an incredible day. Let me tell you about this day. It's going to be one of our longest days of racing of the last 3 days. We started out this morning at 10:45. We ran through Ski Ladies, the very first moto with them. Then we ran through the ski division with the men. Then we did our very first moto with the GP 3.2 and 3.3. And then while we were off the air, we did a free practice with Runabout GP1, and then we also did a free practice for Freestyle. Now this afternoon, we are going to fire up back again Moto number 2 with Ski Ladies GP1 and Ski Division GP1. That's going to be their second moto as well as Ski GP 3.2 and 3.3, the juniors. And then we're going to go into the first motos of Runabout GP1, and we're also going to have our first opportunity to look at Freestyle this afternoon and their first motos. So that is a recap of what's going to be happening in this next session. And then tonight, now that is, it's not actually going to be live streamed, but tonight, just so you are aware, the top riders have been invited to do a duel off or a challenge in parallel slalom, and we're actually performing that for the city of Portimao. And that parallel slalom challenge will fire off at 8 p.m. tonight, and then we're going to have a really cool freestyle show as well, and then a great after party right here in Portimao. So that's the day's events. It's going to be a big day, as you know, for all of the riders. And speaking of big days, it would be awesome if I can catch up with one of the big champions from last year. She got sidelined, unfortunately, after a bit of a training accident 2 weeks ago on her bike, but we've got the opportunity here to interview her really quick. So if you're hearing all this shuffling going around, it's because we're getting a place for her set up so that we get a chance to talk to her. And we're just finishing up that start grid, and you can see what we've done. We've actually changed that start grid. So instead of the guys coming in from left to right, we've actually switched the positions. Now, that may seem like that's going to be a disadvantage, but I think that's really going to be a huge help for these riders, particularly for the runabout. They're going to have a much longer run at that for the whole shot. I think it's going to be really helpful for them as well as the skis. All right, so I have a very special guest. Yay!
Yay! Hi, Dawn.
How are you? I'm here with Krista Uzar, your defending world champion from 2018, the first Latvian to step up to the top of the podium. Tell me a little bit about last year and your recap.
Last year was awesome. More like, it was so amazing. Like, you could even now wish for a more perfect season. Like, not even in your dreams. Like, it was always perfect. It was so nice. The battles, everything. Like, the strength, the girls, all the venues. It was just amazing.
And then you come, I know you practiced almost all year. You train even when it's icy.
Yeah, I trained all winter long up till the very last moment, till we had the water frozen at our lake, and then that's the time when we stop, when we finally are forced to stop for training. But then we move inside, so we do all the physical work and cardios. So it's fun all year long, actually.
Girl, you're a machine. All right, so fast forward me to just a couple of weeks out from the race, and that is when that unforeseen always seems to crop up. What happened?
That was just an accident during my training, also on water, on jet skiing, which is actually good because I was at least doing something good, like training, and then I unfortunately broke my ankle. Actually, I first thought that it's going to be sprained, and I hoped for the best, but I couldn't walk. I even fainted during the night, so then I understood that it's more than just a sprained ankle, and yes, it turns out it's broken. So I'll have 5 weeks, actually 4.5 now, till I get the cast off.
She's literally counting down. Every time I tell her it's going to be like 5 weeks, she's like, no.
4.5 weeks till I can throw out the crutches and everything. Then I have to start walking again, but I'm hoping for the best. I don't know how it goes. I have to start walking again, so I don't know how you teach that. Like, how do you learn that after so long? I have no idea how it's going to be.
So let me ask you this. This is a setback, naturally, but my admiration for you jumped even more. I mean, you're an incredible athlete, but Krista, I'm so impressed with how you've handled it, right? Because there's the mental journey now, plus the physical journey to get back. So tell me what you're doing to, keep yourself positive, and how are you handling it? How are you tackling this challenge?
There are obviously better days and worse days, and all the days can be good. And it all depends on you. You put your mindset. Either you sit at home and you cry and you don't do anything, which is even worse for your condition, even mentally and physically, or you get up, you put 10 times more effort to do any move, to walk, to see the world, to travel, because obviously we don't see many people traveling with crutches. At least I haven't seen. So you put extra way more effort, and then you're able to do things. Of course it's hard, but you don't complain, because I know all the people, this is only temporary, but there are people to whom it happens and they don't have a way back. So I can't complain. I don't have the rights to do so. So I have to stay positive and happy, because this is just a minor thing. It's nothing.
So while on the surface it is really tough in a lot of ways, I love how you turned that around into a learning experience and an opportunity to contribute as well.
Yes, this is actually my first time when I can see it from the shore. I can see all the girls. I don't know to which one to look, because there are so many, and I want to see everything, but it's not possible, but it's really good experience. At least something.
Let's talk about the lady that's on your boat, Alina Carney.
Yeah.
And I know that this is a lady that's a friend of yours. Tell me about her.
Yeah, Ellen is from Estonia, and she was my first choice when I had to make a reserve rider, and I knew that she has a potential, and she actually wanted to come to the world herself, but she didn't make her ski in time. And I offered her this chance, and she was really happy and excited from the very first phone call, and she was like, I already felt that she will come, and she was really happy.
What a great opportunity for her, too. So yet again, we've had this massive challenge in your life. I mean, you came off of a first-time huge win, career-changing win, and you have this tough break. And instead of getting sucked into that, you took it to the next level, and you supported another lady that would not have been able to come out.
Yes,
and
this is something nice. At least I can do something else. You always have to look for the positive things. You can still be happy and make other people happy and give them the chance. So this is a huge opportunity for her. Like, everything's here already, the ski, so it's nice to watch her, and she's also so positive, and she's her times are getting better every time, and she said that she's already tired, but she's going to give it all because today's the last moto for today. So I'm really happy to see her on the boat.
Oh gosh, me too.
Couldn't have a better choice.
Oh, I really love hearing that. Well, it's interesting. I know she doesn't want to mess up your boat, right? So there's that in the back of her head as well.
Oh, definitely, but it's not. I don't think you can mess it up. Like, I don't know what you have to do to mess it up like that bad.
Oh, she's doing very well. You're right. Good point. So I have to talk about your dad a little bit. Did he borrow your boat last week to take the win?
Yeah, he did.
That brat? Did he take good care of it?
Yes, of course. He won the veterans.
That's what I heard.
Yes, it's his second time, actually. Last year, he also won the Veterans Championship, European.
He's kind of cool like that.
Yeah, but there are 2 more races for the European this year, so I can't yet say that he's a winner or champion.
Now listen, if he wants to borrow your boat again, I think you should charge rent.
No, I wouldn't know. He's bringing me here, like.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Yes, it's more than fair.
So big shout out to Janusz as well.
He should be charging me.
Oh my gosh. He is one of the neatest dads. It's fun to watch you two hang out.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. So we are just waiting. We're finishing up on this track change. It is a change, I think, for the better for these guys. We are going to switch directions. It's going to be the first thing you notice going into this second set of motos for Ladies GP. We started this morning with that right-hand turn, and then they went into a left-hand course. Yeah. But it was actually a right-hand start. Now we're going to reverse that so that we give them a little bit more running time. The way we had it set up this morning, it was good because it kept us clean into the course, but the challenge was the start was a bit short, and the angles were getting very, very challenging for the riders. So, again, smart move for our race director, Marco Petrini, to make that change. It's taken it just a little bit to get that set up, and while we do, we have the perfect background picture. It's so hard to describe when you go to some of these races just how gorgeous it really is, because you and I focus a lot on the racetrack. So it's kind of cool
to agree. Only can agree.
get a little opportunity to just see how pretty it is back there. Special thanks, by the way, to our production crew. That's Case Productions and the whole gang that has made us look so good this weekend. And, of course, they're going to be here for the whole tour with us as they were last year as well. We've also got some of the best out on the course. Marco Petrini, of course, your race director for this race. Luco Filberte representing for the UIM. And we have Paolo Corrida back in tech once again this year. And, of course, Q heading up the media tent. That's just some of the celebrities that we have here this weekend to make sure that it all happens, even though you never see them. It's all the work happening behind the scenes. Speaking of behind the scenes, we've had a lot going on back in the paddock. 2 riders that didn't show up yesterday. They were unable to get here in time for the qualifiers, and that was 2 very fast riders in the GP ski class. And that's Steve Doliak and Rafael Maurem, both of them able to make Moto number 1. We'll talk more about that story a little bit later. But right now, we're going to go to a postcard and take a quick look at the beautiful city of Portimao. it is our backdrop for 3 incredible days of racing, and there's a great shot of Speak of the Devil, Luca Filberti himself, as we get the official ruling on that start being set up the way we need it to be. Again, just adjusting that start grid. And a special thank you once again to Krista Uzar for joining us. Mwah. Appreciate it. She said she's going to go grab a coffee. I see Anders Keller back over there as he observes the change in the track, and you'll see a lot of the riders have actually moved up to the wall so that they can take a quick look, because that is a big shift on that starting grid. And that starting grid now going from a right-hand start, it's actually shifted over to a left-hand start, and they have cut out part of that starting grid as well. And the reason for that is it alleviates 2 things. It actually opens up the starting grid, and it also allows these riders a better angle to set up for the whole shot. So instead of a double-double on those turns, they're actually going into that single set of double reds, and they drop straight from there into the split section, and that's what we're finishing up right now. And as I said, we have the gentleman down there from the UIM. He's going to go and make sure that we've got this set up like we want. And then once we get the blessings from the UIM, we are able to move on into the first series of motos for this afternoon. It's actually going to be moto number 2 for women's ski, men's ski, and juniors. And then, of course, this is our first chance to watch Runabout GP1 today. Big class that we've got coming at us. We've got a really great gate of women, 14 racers. And in the men's division and the ski, we have 20 racers that'll be coming to the line. And then for the runabout class this afternoon, it's going to be 23 riders coming to the line. And lots of very well recognized names that we'll be talking about. Also getting our timing set up as well. And as soon as we get these start grids figured out, we are going to be going to some racing for you. But thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We are live on aquabike.net. And if you have any questions, I am happy to stay on so that I can go ahead and answer any of those questions for you. Yes, I think, well, actually, that he's actually checking the timing is what they're doing. But yeah, the demonstration on there, it's an opportunity for you to see how the start went. Shout out to Yuki Francois Kuriashi for joining us. Yuki, of course, in a celebrity status all of her own. Multiple champion in stand-up and sit-down racing. Great to have her. Ken Gallagher, appreciate you tuning in. All right, it was so funny. You know, we just started this stream and it was dead calm. Like there was exactly no wind out here, and you could really start to feel the 30 degrees because it's heated up so much this afternoon. And as soon as I was just going to start talking about it, we had a massive gust come down through the channel here, and that could be an indicator of some great waves this afternoon. I would much prefer wind, but it'll certainly make it more challenging for the racers and more fun for us. But I thought that was just really entertaining because it's actually supposed to calm down this afternoon. Apparently their weather forecasters are just about as good as the forecasters in the U.S. Kind of tough to predict the weather. It's never hard to predict great racing, though. And you can already see a lot of the feedback on the social streams. One of those, of course, is what happened in the men's GP1 race this morning. Best ever finish from Dan Anderson, part of Kev Racing. He's been working with Kevin Redder this last year and got a second place in Moto 1. Kevin Redder taking the win. Another Kev Racing rider also did very well, and that would be Diago Barbosa, boat number 24. Diago actually smoked the whole shot. This little guy is a rocket ship. Smoked the whole shot. And of course, he had some pretty high caliber talent behind him. It was Theodore Lizeth that was behind him. And after that first lap, Theodore was able to sneak around Diago, but great racing between those two guys. That was your 13 to 15 class. We also have the 10 to 12 class you'll get to watch out here. And the 10 to 12 was all about boat number 11. That was Ander Hubert Laurie taking that win. And then your win in the women's ski this morning was the indomitable Eminelli Ortendal on boat number 98. And you could see the reflection of the water off the boat, just hypnotizing. It's so gorgeous here. And Portimao has played such gracious host for the Aquabike World Championship Tour this weekend. In fact, we've been spoiled pretty rotten. We have an awesome setup. I hope you guys got the opportunity to take a look at how the paddocks were laid out. We literally have the entire side of this wall for the paddocks, and as far as the opportunity for us to load the boats and get the boats back out of the water, we are using one of the marina's docks for that. So it's 4 lanes wide. We're able to get the boats in and out very, very quickly, and it's all those little things that make such a big difference. And it looks like we are starting to pull the ladies out as we have finished with the setup on that start grid. I see that Jet Sport and Oliver Lizeth tuning back in. Oh man, we've got a bunch of people jumping on. Oliver, you've got to be so happy for Theodore. That was some great racing this morning. Jet Club Cecilia, thank you so much for joining us. Crystal Bosch has tuned in. Crystal, we certainly do miss you and the family. Sad that we couldn't have boat number 98 out here representing in the men's class, but we know that Quentin Bosch is working and unfortunately can't sneak away just to go play on the Aquabike Tour, but just give him our love. It's great to have you here. Adnan Yassini, who's going to be racing. Yuki Francois Kuriashi has joined. Philippe Salabir has joined. Welcome. Epi Prouse, much love and fingers crossed for Yasmini Prouse. And Laura Urich has also come back and joined us on the live feed. Travis Kraft, great to have you here. All right, the first race of this afternoon is going to be moto number 2, and that is going to be women's ski. Let's get you the entry list and the rider lineup so you can see who's going to be on the line. It started off with the lady that took the win in Moto 1, Eminelli Ortendal on boat number 98, with Jada Borgstrom second, 25. Yasmin E. Prouse almost had it. She had the whole shot, went down briefly. She's in third. Sophie Borgstrom fourth. Estelle Perret in fifth. Here's that second grid. Lisa Kassan Batalha, Katrine Nilby, Kylie Elmers, Janina Johansson joining us for the whole tour this year, and Joanna Grassa, and a brand new rider. She's a substitute for Krista Uzar. That is Alina Karnim. There is your racer lineup. Welcome to Barry Gibson and Tiger Tan, as well as Mr. Gintz. Olivier Ravel, Bill Beer is also here. Hey, Rhea. It's good to see Rhea Pope online. Quentin Bosch taking a break in between work to watch. Travis, you're asking about why the track is changing. Let me give you a quick recap. We wanted to shift the start. That is the only thing that is changing on the track. Again, we did change the start grid. We did that for a couple of reasons. We wanted to, the way we had that set up this morning, it was actually a right-hand start, but it went into a left-hand track, which is not necessarily uncommon, but we had a less than ideal real estate to work with on that. So since we had the opportunity and the break in between, we took the chance after those free practices to shift that track over, giving the riders a better angle on the start and also a longer start so that we get an opportunity for them to really wrap out the motors. And it gives us a good opportunity and a little better viewing to be able to see this start as well. So again, we've shifted the start grid. We are going to be coming from left to the right, and then we'll be going into a left-hand track. So you'll go straight from the start grid, the three big buoys, green, yellow, red, and then they will be taking one double red and they'll go right into the split section. And as we do every moto, we are going to do the parade lap. And we're going to have that parade lap right in front of the camera so you get the opportunity to watch. Jessica Siobhan. Actually, you will get the chance to watch that start now if you want to see how the start grid has changed. So just watch the screen. You've got the course marshals as they are bringing the ladies over to that shift in the start grid. And you can see what I'm talking about. There's the big cans for the start. Now, do you see the green buoy? 1st through 5 will be going to that turn where the green buoy is. Much easier for us to watch as well. And then 6 through 15 will be taking the yellow buoy. 6 through 15 will be taking the yellow buoy. And then 16 and up will be going to the red buoy. Then they go to the double red. And as you can see, once they come back to that double red, then it starts to get very technical, and they're going to have to pick on that split section. And you can see the green buoys and the blue buoys indicating our splits. And this is the parade lap and opportunity for the ladies to see that start. And we will be doing a running start. You're watching the UIM-ABP Aquabike World Championship Tour. This is the Grand Prix of Portugal and our first stop in a massive tour this year. From here to Sardinia, Olbia, Italy, and then from there we'll be going to China, and then from China we'll be heading all the way out to India, and then back to Sharjah as we round out our tour in December. And it is going to be massive, so they're going to show them the whole start, so they go through the split section. And then from that split section, they have to merge, and then from the merge, they go to the double yellows that you're seeing at the top of the screen. And then they do a sharp 90-degree turn, and they have to pick off another double. So it's a double-double just to get them onto the front stretch. Very technical section. And then a pretty short front stretch. And we will be retiring the flags, and then we'll be getting them ready for the start. I think you are going to love this setup. It'll be much easier for us to see the whole shot. Hey, a special shout out to Mecca Parade. Thanks so much for tuning in. We miss you, bud. We miss the Parade tribe. But I love the fact that Estelle Perret is here representing and rocking. Also, we got Matthew Skelly up. And Wu Ronghua has joined us. Wu was supposed to be on the line this weekend. Unfortunately, couldn't make it out. Lots of love on the stream for Kylie Elmers, and that is well-deserved as she gets ready to go. She's been having a bit of boat issues yesterday and then just got shut down on the start hard, unable to get into that hole shot position. Let's see what happens in moto number 2. Samuel Johansson has also jumped on the stream, even though he's going to be up racing in just a little bit. Ben Scharf back on the line as well. And good to have Cole Kramer with us and Taylor Porter. How long is one lap around? Taylor, just a bit of background on that. The gentlemen were running 1:37.59 was the qualifying time yesterday. Emily Ortendahl was a 1:40.67. That was her pole position time. So about a little over a minute and a half on each lap. We're looking at approximately 1.7 kilometer course and about 28 pins out there for the stand-up riders. All right, again, we are getting them staged and ready to go as we get ready to fire off moto number 2 in the women's ski. Again, in Moto 1, the lineup, Eminelli Ortendahl on the pole, Jonna Borgstrom with an awesome second. And they are off. E. Prowse does have the whole shot on that inside on the first grid. Talked to Emma earlier. She said E. Prowse's boat is just incredibly fast. You can look for Eminelli Ortendahl. She is going to run to the blue buoys. E. Prowse is going to go through on the greens. And Eminelli Ortendahl, the first one to go through the blues, will she be able to catch up with Jasmine E. Prowse? And she is right on her as they come out of that split section. Less than 2 boats separating the top 2. Emma sneaks to the inside. Is she going to be able to hold that momentum as they sweep around onto that front stretch? Emma goes down slightly. Jasmine E. Prowse with the whole shot. Eminelli Ortendahl in second. It's going to be Jonna Borgstrom in third. Katrine Nilby up in fourth. Estelle Perret in fifth. Molly Fern for the UK in sixth. Kylie Elmers in seventh. Virginia Morale in eighth. And Sophie Borgstrom in ninth. Wow, what an incredible run for these guys. And again, Yasmin E. Prowse with the whole shot. And now Eminelli Ortendahl got some work cut out for her. Going to be 3 motos for the ladies. So again, we're in this second moto. They've got another for a final tomorrow. All of those scores will be combined. Again, your top 5. Yasmin E. Prowse with the lead. We've got Eminelli Ortendahl in second. Jonna Borgstrom in third. Katrine Nilby, who had a tough run on the first moto. She actually was back in 10th. Currently, she's up in 4th. 96, Estelle Perret in 5th. Molly Fern in 6th. That's the way it looked out of that first lap. And you can see just how technical this track is. You're looking at the split section. That is the green splits. And from the way we're standing, it's actually the outside split. Although generally, the greens would be called the inside. And look how close it is between these two as they come out of the split section. Eminelli Ortendahl turned it right into her favor from the blues, moved into the lead. And just like that, on a boat that she won internationally with last year, turns it into a win. Let's start getting some times. Eminelli Ortendahl with a 2:28.16. Yasmin E. Prowse with a 2:30.55. Man, Jonna looks so solid. She's got a 2:37.13. She's up in third. Estelle Perret snuck into fourth, and she also did that out of that split section. Estelle with a 2:43.36. Katrine Nilby in fifth. 2:45.44. Molly Fern with a 2:48.91. Kylie Elmers in 7th with a 2:51.88. And you're watching Eminelli Ortendahl on boat number 98 And man, she had a crazy year last year. She was trying to decide. She had been running with the Pro Force, but that Kawasaki had come out and it was just taking the world by storm because of that new 1500. That boat is a lot heavier, so it's also a lot longer, so it's been taking a bit of time for these riders to transition into that bigger hull. But I tell you what, that Kawasaki has proven to be very, very competitive, competitive enough that Emanelli Ortendahl had to have 2 boats last year, and she was swapping back and forth between those 2. And it was actually causing her a little bit of trouble, but she is currently on the Kawasaki, but she does love that Pro Force as well. That boat, by the way, is the boat that Chris Hagas put together. Another very famous jet ski racer. And actually, I do believe Chris had tuned in yesterday to cheer Emanelli Ortendahl on. There's your long shot of the track, giving you the opportunity to take a look at this 1.7 kilometers. Very narrow, very technical. She is hauling. Yeah, let's take a look at the times. All right, fastest time just posted, 1:44.75, lap 2 for Emanelli Ortendahl. And as Yasmini Prouse comes through, she's still in the hunt, 1:54.72, 12 seconds off the pace. And Jonna Borgstrom with a 1:53.86. About 6 seconds back. Jonna's right in this hunt. Estelle Perret, after sneaking around Katrine Nilby in 4th place, she's got a 1:51.21 on lap 2. And there's your shot of Virginie Morales on boat number 7. Virginie's finish this morning was 8th place. She's slipped 1 back in moto number 2. She's running up in 9th. Yasmin E. Prouse with that signature 64, which is a combination of race numbers from her brother and her dad. Her brother races number 4 and her dad races 165. She put both of those together. Extra fun and always adding meaning, I think, to the race numbers. I don't know what it is about that, but that's kind of one of the cool things that racers do. They typically try to get a race number that has meaning for them. Let's take a look as we move on to lap number 3 for Emanelli Ortendahl. Let's catch her chime as she hits this checker buoys. 1:48.42, about 4 seconds off. She had a 1:44.75, currently her best time. That was lap 2. And you could feel this wind. It just continues to shake, rattle, and roll. Right before we started this series of motos, it was dead flat here. But already you can see we're starting to get some nice rollers coming in on this channel. Top 3, Yasmin E. Prouse, 1:50.39. Jonna Borgstrom in 3rd, or 1:49.56, and that was her fastest time thus far, lap 3. Estelle Perret, check this out. On that last lap, Jonna Borgstrom's time was a 1:49.56. Estelle Perret's time was a 1:49.85. Looks to me like Estelle Perret is going into a next gear. Oh, Ken, great question. I appreciate you asking me that. No, Estelle Perret has always raced on the bullet hulls. She actually just switched over. She is on a brand new Kawasaki as well. She's had less than 5 hours on that boat, so not a whole lot of time. And her and her dad are out here this weekend, so she's still getting used to that. And again, big shift. But yeah, she's always been on the bullets. In fact, her and her brothers as well, Jeremy Perret, pretty famous for riding the bullet. And I believe Jeremy's on the V4 this year. Not positive, but I'm pretty sure he's on that new V4. Actually, Michael probably let me know that. I think he's on the stream. So Michael probably give us some feedback, hopefully. Oh, and Cole Kramer just chiming in. Hi, Don. Hopefully see you next year out there. Well, I will take that challenge. Come hang out with us, bud. I see Adipon Oil Kunza has tuned in. Adipon, very famous sit-down or runabout racer. Great to have him on the stream. And you're just in time. We've got runabouts coming in about 3 races. As Yasmin comes through, let's take a look at the times. 1:44.75 on lap 4. The best time still for Emanelli Ortendal was the 1:44.75. That lap was 1:51.01. A reaction, I think, to the shifting wave situation here. Yasmini Prouse with a 1:51.92. Jonna Borgstrom with a 1:52.30. Estelle Perea 1:51.25. And remember, Estelle Perret is a mechanic when it comes to dealing with rough water. She is probably, of the group of ladies out here, one of the best as far as handling big surf and big water conditions. So it'll be very fun to watch as we work our way through this moto and these waves continue to get bigger, if that is going to be an advantage for the young lady on boat number 96. Shot at the split section, and you can see back there on the black and red boat, that is not Krista Uzar, who you would normally see on boat number 95, our defending world champion. You got a chance to listen to her earlier in our interview as we talk about the incident in Trady where she broke her ankle, knocking her out of the first couple of races. She will be back, however, for the China race, barring any problems or complications with that ankle. Emanelli Ortendal, we're on lap number 5, 1:49.75. And we are doing a 15-minute moto. We are 9 minutes and change, 9 minutes 55 in that moto now. So a little over 5 minutes left. And as we take a look up at Estelle Perret, she is putting some pressure on Jonna Borgstrom. Last lap for Estelle Perret was a 1:55. And Jonna Borgstrom's was a 1:54.64. That is very close between those two riders. Jonna Borgstrom is not going to be able to relax. She's had a great kickoff to this year, though. Second in qualifying on Q1 yesterday. She also got a second out of last week in Portugal at the first stop for the European round, which gave her a huge boost coming into this. Now, mind you, Jonna Borgstrom actually had been injured last year. If you guys remember, she had a pretty tough break on her arm, able to come back from that and not just rehab, but look how well she is doing this year. That is a huge acknowledgement for an incredible racer, Jonna Borgstrom. And you're watching her work her way through the green split or outside split. She also aboard a Kawasaki. I know I'm going to get that question, so I'll just jump in. She's also riding with Team Cav, and look at how close Estelle Perret was. She almost overtook that one-legged monkey jump to hold on to the boat, but man, that was close. Estelle Perret came out of that. She watched Emanelli Ortendal pass Yasmin E. Prouse in that same section, and she tried to set up Jonna, and she almost got her. Very, very close. That was some great racing. I don't know how the heck Estelle Perret held on to that, but that is very typical of her. She is incredibly talented. Very, very strong upper body, and she held on to that boat, but man, that had to be a bit of a heart stopper for her. Let's take a look at the times. 1:44.75, still the best one for Emanelli Ortendal. Her lap time on this lap, lap 6, 1:48.83. Yasmini Prouse with a 1:47.99. She's kicking it into the next gear. Jonna Borgstrom with a 1:54.45, and Estelle Perret with a 1:54.97. That's your top 4. Molly Fern on the charge, up in 5th. Molly with a 1:52.95. getting a little bit of clean water back there. It's allowed her to pick up her lap time. Actually ran that last lap faster than Estelle Perret did. I think some of that, getting some clean water and also having a good run. Here comes your leader. That is Emanelli Ortendahl. Already working some lap traffic. We are on lap number, well, we're finishing lap 6, coming into lap 7. And our time on the clock, 13 minutes 23, so she is not going to get the white flag this time. 1:48.61 was her lap time for this last lap. So she should get the white flag on this next lap for Emanelli Ortendahl. Two-time world champion in 2016 and 27. She was a two-time slalom champion in 2015 and 2016. She was a European champion back in 2016. Two-time Swedish champion. Well, you get the drift. She's good. She's real good. She's also really sweet. Yasmin Epraus, boat number 64, and this has been the dark horse coming into this season. And we saw glimmers of this last year. In 2018, she nailed a podium, had a 7-point lead, 2 podiums total, 1 win out of 7 motos on last year's tour. So you could tell something was happening. And Team Estonia, her best finish was in Sharjah when she nailed a 3rd. She also got a 3rd last week at the European Championship in Penafiel. She's a student, lives in Parnu, Estonia, loves alpine skiing, history, art, photography, and clearly pretty addicted to jet ski racing. Her time on that one was a 1:05.123 on lap 7. Jonna Borgström at a 1:54.56. And this is what I was talking about, Estelle Perret with a 1:54.39. Things that make you go, Again, shots of Yasmin Epraus. Had the whole shot. And then after lap 1, they flipped positions because Emanelli Ortendahl snuck into that split section and got around her out of the inside split. There comes Jonna Borgström. It's your 3rd place rider, and her and Estelle lined it up as they come out on the merge buoys, and that was too close to call at first, but they were side by side. Estelle is pushing her. Now it's going to get crazy, because the white flag has come up, and take a look at both of these riders. That is your battle for 3rd place, and man, I got to hand it to Jonna. She flat shut the door out of that merge buoy, gave herself about a 3-boat lead on Estelle Perret, but that battle is not over as the white flag is up. Molly Fern back there playing spoiler. In 5th place, Molly from the UK, just joined the tour last year, but wow. Keep your eye on boat number 25 and boat number 96. Emanelli Ortendahl, as she comes in for her final lap. Will she take the blue buoys again, that inside split? It's worked very well for her, and yep, she sure does. She's going to take the split closest to her. And you can hear the screaming as Estelle Perret on the hunt for Jonna Borgström. Yasmin Epraus at the top of the screen on boat 64 is your 2nd place rider. And they're getting their checker flag ready because Emanelli Ortendahl just made her final turn onto the front stretch. You see how big the waves are coming through. Congratulations. A Moto 2 win back-to-back, and that is a big ego boost for this young lady on boat number 98. Emanelli Ortendahl from Sweden. Her dad has got to be happy with that. Epraus coming through. Another great run for this young lady. Going to take 2nd place. And that's the battle for 3rd, and it is Estelle Perret who moved into that lead out of the split section. Not even surprised. Estelle Perret taking 3rd, and Jonna Borgström with a heroic effort. Great job for her as well, 4th place. That was some awesome racing in women's GP1. Wow. Molly Fern going to round up your top 5, and a great finish for this young lady out of the UK as well. Oh my gosh. More racing continuing as we light up on Borgstrom and Sophie Borgstrom holding off Katrine Nilby. And just on the final turn, Sophie Borgstrom gets it. That puts Sophie Borgstrom in 6th place. Unbelievable racing from top to bottom. Woohoo! And Katrine Nilby died right at the very end. Did she manage to get across? Hopefully. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Morales got around her, but it looks like she was managed to hold on after that. So Nilby's going to have 8th. So it's Virginia Morales. Oh, she still hadn't gone across? She's right on top of it. Yeah, she ended up with 8th. Okay. Course marshal having to give her a boost. So the boat made it across, and she was right in the middle. She actually got called, thank goodness, for making it across as well. Here's your top 10. That was nuts. Ortendahl takes the win. Yasmin Ebrau 2nd. Estelle Perret 3rd. Jonna Borgstrom 4th. Molly Fern 5th. Sophie Borgstrom 6th. Virginia Morales 7th. Katrine Nilby 8th. Jessica Chavon in 9th. And Kylie Elmer's rounding out your top 10. And that was wonderful. I almost said that other word that I wasn't supposed to say. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I can only guess that the action is just going to continue to get better. We'll be right back after this short break. We were just bragging. Welcome back, by the way, to the Aquabike World Championship Tour. This is the Grand Prix of Portugal. But we were just bragging about Sophie Borgstrom and her charge. Didn't get the bestest of starts. She was back in that 2nd grid, but managed to turn over 3 positions in 3 laps with that pass on Katrine Nilby and locking in that 6th place finish. What a great job for the young lady out of Sweden. She's got to be, or Norway, she's got to be super stoked on that. Yesterday, I will tell you, I got such a kick out of her. She literally was back in the pits waiting for the results to be posted up on social media because she had managed to qualify the top 3, and of course it was a big, big, big boost for her. So again, congratulations to Sophie Borgstrom and also to Jonna Borgstrom, and I'm sure Håkan has now got his heart kick-started again. And you thought that was good. Guess what's coming next? GP1 men's ski. Oh, and by the way, Marta Sorrentino. Oh, you were so cute. Marta Sorrentino Perez actually jumped on the live feed to say girls power. She was also right behind us watching the races, so it was great to have Marta. We really need to get Marta up here for an interview. She's awesome. All right, we're getting the guys lined up with the parade lap. Thank you so much, Scott Benson, for the compliment on the video footage. Rock Floriancic, you should be here. We miss you. Oh, the whole parade clan watching and cheering on Estelle Perret, and that even includes Jennifer Bernard. Much love to you all. We miss you. Yes, Morgan Perret saying magnifique, Estelle, and even I could say that in French. Morgan, it is my honor, and I will make sure that everybody on the TV crew gets the compliment from you. Thank you so much for saying quality live TV. That means the world to us. Appreciate it, bud. We'll make sure they know. Benjamin Francois telling me to call 911 for Håkan ASAP. We're going to come up with the entry list. I would say Håkan probably needs to take a deep breath. We got even more cool action because Dan Anderson is in this, and he just got a 2nd in Moto 1. Here's your entry list. Kevin Redber with the win in Moto 1. Dan Anderson 2nd. Gabor Szabo with a crazy run. Great job in 3rd. Lucas Benar in 4th. Axel Courtois in 5th. Martin Manny in 6th. Andrew Keller 7th. And Salman Alawadi in 8th. 2nd grid, we're looking at Barnabas Szabo. Steve Adaliak charged from dead last to 10th. Andrea Guidi In 11th, Stian, of course, in that grid. Ulrich Bernsen, who was doing a yard sale on the intake grade in the qualifying, back in 13th. Slaven Ivancic with a fantastic win last weekend here in 14th. Adnan Yassini, 15. Carlos San Andres as well on this lineup. But we're not done. Rafael Morin able to finally get on a plane and get over to us. He is at 17th, Attila Deri 18th, Marcus Lutzekert in 19th, and Mads Hansen rounding out your field. Told you this was going to be a great lineup as you get ready to watch GP1. This is Moto number 2. One of the things I wanted to reference is typically these riders are going to make changes on the boat depending on what kind of start they think they're going to be dealing with, right? So those commander boats, and I'm specifically thinking of that commander hull for Stian and Martin Manny, they have commander boats, but they've also got Kawasaki's. Both of them showed up this morning with that commander hull, thinking they were going to get a long start. In fact, they got a very short start, putting them at a bit of a disadvantage. Now, you do not want to change boats, but good news for these guys because this longer start is going to be very, very handy for that commander hull. Now, in Stian's situation, Chris Girello from Go Fast Chris actually has been doing a lot of work with Stian's boat this year, so he's got a brand new combination, not just the hull, but also the engine. And he hasn't had a ton of time on that boat, so he's been doing incredibly well. It's great to have Rafael Morin. Now, I will tell you, Rafael didn't do so good in Moto number 1, but part of the reason for that is he's on a boat that he has not been on since March when he was doing that tour in Dubai. And then after that, he actually has been on a hull that he has been working on. So he's going to be at a bit of a disadvantage this afternoon. Plus, he's had about 3 hours of sleep. But nevertheless, that French rider going to be one to watch. Got to tell you another one to watch, and that is boat number 81. That's Stephen Daliak. If that name sounds familiar, he's a 7-time world champion from around the globe. Incredible racer, originally from France. Hails from the UAE now, as he calls home, and that's who he's riding for this weekend. And speaking of fast ladies, nice segue. I'm with the lady that won now not just Moto number 1, but Moto number 2.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back, Emanuele Ortendal.
Thank you. I'm really, really happy to be here again.
You know, I did not think your smile could get any bigger after Moto 1, but clearly I was wrong.
Yeah.
All right, so since you were the first one to have the opportunity to talk and actually experience the start grid, give me your thoughts on the change on that start grid and if it helped.
This change was really, really good. I like it a lot more better because we have so much more space and like you can take your time and it's a long straight. So the one with a fast ski, they're really happy and everyone gets as much space as they want to. So this was a perfect change.
Good.
Yeah.
Good to hear. Yeah, you kind of liked it too, I thought.
Oh yeah, I did because I didn't get squeezed or anything. I could find my good ways through. And now they go.
Yeah, we are off with the second moto for men's GP ski. Again on that grid, Kevin Rederer. Let's see if he is able to get a pole.
Looks like he's got it. Oh shit, someone fell in the start from the first.
Beep,
on the green one.
Beep. Kevin Rederer with the whole shot on his grid. Let's see as they come through. He's on the green buoys, and that is Kevin in the lead.
There's someone on the top 5 riders that fall.
And it's going to be Anderson coming through.
Yeah, he's in the blue
He's
one.
in the blue buoys. Yeah, he's going to be, and that's exactly what happened in Moto number 1. You had Kevin Rederer from the inside on that green buoy setup, and you had Dan Anderson. And Dan's got company coming out of those double yellows.
Alex Cortaz.
It's Axel Courtois in second, and it's going to be Dan Anderson in third. Your whole shot going to Kevin Rederer on the victory team. Axel Courtois, second place. Dan Anderson up in third. It's Steve Daliak in fourth. Martin Manny in fifth. Stian Schvetlein in sixth. Gabor Szabo in seventh. Ander Kellers in eighth. Slaven Ivancic in ninth. Wow, that was a royal ruckus.
Was it Lucas Binar who fell?
Just checking. Salman Al-Wadi. Lucas Benar actually might have been the rider that went down. He is recovering and going through the split section. Meanwhile, your race leader, Kevin Redderer, with a repeat after moto number 1. Woo! And I got to tell you, Dan Anderson almost had that. Axel Courtois snuck in just at the bottom of it, and he had the line to that double yellow, and he was able to shut the door on Dan Anderson's run for a repeat on that. And sure enough, Lucas Benar, who in Q1 yesterday finished with the second fastest time, currently having to do a little makeup. A little makeup. Yeah, he did. He went down in the split section off the start. All right, well, keep your eye out for the victory team. That's boat number 90 and the combination between Chris Wilkinson and Kevin Redderer. And you can see all of the handling that's been done on that boat. He's able to lay that Kawasaki almost completely on the side and keep that puppy hooked up. And that is because of the incredible amount of work that these guys have been doing on the combo this year. And it's not just that you have the fastest boat, it's that you have the best combination in the boat, because it truly is all about handling as well.
Yeah,
here's your times. Yeah, here's your times. 2:36.98 is your time for Kevin Redderer, and a 2:46.65 for Axel Courtois, 2:51.29 for Dan Anderson, and a 2:53.93 for Martin Manning. Well, let me finish it up real quick for Eminelli Ortendahl, and then we will get back to the racing. Congratulations, young lady, and thank you so much for coming back out here and racing with us. And I loved watching that start.
Thank you. I love to race here too. This is the best championship in the world, and you know the standards of this events is just amazing.
Aw, thank you. You're the best, girl. All right, we will get back to the action. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Don.
All right, again, fast lap time, 2:36.98 for Kevin Redderer. Nailed that on the first lap. Gentleman that's got multiple riders riding with him and has been training with him this year. One of them is a gentleman that's currently back in third place, Dan Anderson. Axel Courtois is going to come from the inside split, still holding off Dan Anderson's charge. Axel Courtois with a great finish in moto number 1. Ended up with 5th place. Currently sitting in 2nd. Here's his lap time. 1:47.30, and that is his fastest lap time. And man, Dan Anderson keeping some pressure on him. He's got a 1:45.32 on that lap. Martin Manny with a 1:45.91. So Anderson is going to have to continue pushing because Manny is coming up fast. Steven Daliak in 5th with a 1:45.33. And Stian Schvetlein with a 1:46.88. Gabor Zaba with a 1:48.39. Rafael Moran with a 1:42.55. Anders Keller with a 1:51.31. If you take a look on this grid, 3rd through 5th all in the 1:45s. Taking a look at the top of the screen, that's Axel Courtois that you're watching in his battle with Dan Anderson up in 3rd. Rafael Moran with a tough finish in the first one. Wasn't even able to crack up into the top 10. Currently in 8th place. Daliak in 5th. Now remember, both these riders unable to even show up yesterday. They weren't on site yet. Weren't able to get in on practice or the qualifiers. Now in moto number 2, you can start to see them able, once they've got this track laid out and had an opportunity to warm up on the boats, now they're starting to light it up. Daliak in 5th place, Moran in 8th, Martin Manny, who had a really rotten start in Moto 1, up in 4th. Manny actually ended up in 6th place in Moto 1. Running very, very consistent. And again, got that commander hull And his dad was actually working on the boat for Martin Manny, as he's done over the years. And you can see Rafael Moran on 44 as he cruises through. And he is on a setup that he has not been on since back in March. It's actually a longer boat and a bit heavier boat. The boat that he was running over in the Dubai series. (139.64). Current lap time for Kevin Redwer. We're in lap number 3. Now, mind you, it's 15-minute moto. We're 7 minutes in already. And already, with only 3 laps in, I see a rider having problems. That's boat number 19. Gabor Szabo having to retire from the field early. Well, that was tough. That was a gentleman that had 3rd in the first moto, and he's actually having to go in, so tough break. Redderer, Courtois, and Anderson, your top 3. Manny up in 4th. Daliak 5th. Schvetline also with less than 12 hours on that boat in 6th. And mind you, he's on a brand new boat, and we've got more challenges. That's Daliak and Manny going at it. Daliak trying to get around Martin Manny, and he does right off at the double yellows as they jump into this front stretch. Now Daliak's got Axel Courtois in his sights. Yeah, that was actually Anderson and Manny. Daliak still in 5th place. That was Manny making a run at Anderson. Looked like Daliak for a moment. Redderer still leading, Courtois and Anderson, no change on the top 3. Let's look at the times. 1:40.03 is the current lap time for Kevin Redderer. 1:48.01 current lap time for Axel Courtois, and a 1:48.94 for Dan Anderson. Martin Manny, however, running at a 1:47.92. And Daliak running at a 1:47.64, and Schvetline running at a 1:47.43. So you can see the problem from 4 down. The riders are actually going faster on these lap times, and that's what's causing some of the traffic. We are expecting some more changes in the top 5 as Kevin Redderer runs it all alone. He's got his own zip code out here in Portimao. His lap time on that, a 1:40.81. He's on lap number 5. You've got 9 minutes and 28 seconds on the clock. And that is Axel Courtois on boat 95. Just rocketed off of the start. Loved the setup. He had that first grid lineup. He was in 5th out of Moto 1, so that gave him the opportunity to run to the green buoys, or that first grid. And that put him in a great place to run to the inside split. And that inside split allowed him to convert into 2nd right off the start, and he has not relinquished that position. Meanwhile, the rest of the riders through. Axel Courtois and Dan Anderson from 2nd through 8th. All of the riders within 5 boats of each other. And that is, as I said, a perfect recipe for anybody makes a mistake and you're going to lose a spot because they're just too close to hold them off. 10 minutes, 47 seconds on the clock. We got 4 more minutes, a couple more laps before we get the white flag. In lap number 6, we've lapped up 5 positions for Kevin Redderer. And you can see boat number 90, that Victory Team boat. Victory Team, of course, racing on the F1 H2O series as well, and they just started this team for Aquabike last year. And they brought in Chris Wilkinson to be the team manager for that. And they also brought in Kevin Rederer. And as we caught up with him in the last couple of days with interviews, you could see what a tremendous combination that has turned out to be. Second place, just popping on that front stretch, that's boat 95, Axel Courtois. Here's his time, 149.84. And Dan Anderson, 149.97. Manny up in fourth, 150.02. Daliak, 150.55. And Morin with a 148.55, 2 seconds faster. And he's starting to put pressure on Daliak and Schvetlein. "12 minutes, 36 seconds into this. Axel Courtois taking a brief respite. That's one of the few places on the track that you can actually do a quick backstretch. Thank you so much to Chris Sedan. I appreciate you guys tuning in on the live stream. John Carlson, how about an interview with Samuel Johansson? I totally agree. We should definitely grab him for an interview. We'll do that right after his race, which is coming up in just a little bit. He's going to be in that Runabout GP1, and this is your first opportunity to watch that in this afternoon's session. Lots of love out there from Philippe Menard for Axel Courtois, and of course, Go Martin. Gaz also shouting out for Courtois. Mike Georgie just tuned on to the feed, so a lot of energy being pushed towards this rider on boat number 95. That's Axel Courtois in that second place spot, and here comes second through 8th place. And we're at 13.44, so you know, with that being said, at least 2 more laps to go for these guys. And it is getting crowded back here, 2 through 2nd, because now we're working lap traffic on top of the front runners from 1st and 8th place. Let's take a look at the times. All right, Courtois, Anderson, and Manny all in the 1.50s. Morin snuck up into 5th, and he's at a 148.11. Daliak with a 151. Schvetlein with a 150. Keller with a 150. And Slaven Ivancic, your winner from last weekend in Penafiel, also starting to put pressure. He's on boat 4, and he's got a 149.85. Kevin Rederer taking also a quick break. He's going to have 2 more laps to go. Should get the white flag on this next lap as he comes through. He's working towards the back stretch. That's the section of the track he's on. So if you imagine where the starting grid is, he's just to the left of that starting grid. Excuse me, just to the right. Just a bit this way. If you can see my hands, which you can't. All right, there's your shot of Martin Manny. Brand new paint job on that boat. I talked to Dustin Matsuris earlier this year about what color they wanted to do on the boat, and he'd never had a solid yellow boat, he said, with that kind of wrap, so he thought he'd go for it. I tell you what, I think it's awesome. It's very easy to see this boat anywhere on the track, so great design. Ended up with a cool looking color. That's Martin Manny. You're watching boat 53, currently in 4th place. Man, I tell you what, he put the fear in Kevin Rederer there for a minute or 2 in qualifying yesterday. And Rafael Morin continuing this pressure. You were watching 44 as he snuck up on Martin Manny. Morin from back in 8th place, now in 5th. Let's see what the time is. Oh yeah. Manny with a 150.81 and Rafael Morin on that lap with a 149.64. Current fastest track time today, 139 flat, and that was posted by Kevin Rederer. No change yet on the top 3. And your white flag is going to be coming out shortly. Redder, Courtois, and Anderson. It's actually out. White flag is out. "16 minutes on the clock. So we are going to be a couple of minutes in overtime. And there's your shot of Rafael Morin and the boat that he rode during the winter. It's not been the boat he's been on the last couple of months. Hey, I want to say a shout out. The Banana Rocket. Oh my gosh, they're already nicknaming Martin Manny's boat the Banana Rocket. That is awesome. I think that should stick. All right, you can hear the flags. Or excuse me, hear the whistle as that white flag out for Axel Courtois, Dan Anderson, Martin Manny, and Rafael Morin. That is 2nd through 5th. Daliak 6th. Anders Keller 7th. Stien Schvetline 8th. Huge props to Stien, man. Again, brand new boat, brand new hull, brand new engine, doing a great job out there at the top 10. Meanwhile, put your hands together for the victory team as Kevin Redderer, coming across that front stretch, takes the win. And it just doesn't get any better than this for Jerez Ben Jerez. They could not have asked for a cooler combination. Chris Wilkinson very happy with that finish. See Lucas Bernard coming through in that group. Again, had a great qualifying yesterday. Just got wadded up in a tough spot on the split section. Actually had a good start running. Unfortunately, I got that boat sideways in the splits. Looked a bit like Yasmin Epraus in this morning's motos. Able to recover, but it was a tough fall for Lucas Bernard. And Ulrich Bernsen having a look underneath the hood there. It's actually pulled that hood up. It's got some heat happening. Meanwhile, this battle for 2nd through 5th has shaped up on the front stretch. You've got Axel Courtois, and he doesn't realize the drama behind him, but it is Dan Anderson fighting for it. Takes 3rd. Manny barely holds 4th. Rafael 5th. Rafael about went off the side of the boat. And Daliak at 6th, Keller 7th. No change on that one, but great fun to watch. And a good finish for Minsky GP1. That was awesome. All right, we'll see if we can get Kevin Redderer and the gang up here for an interview. Meanwhile, we're going to go a little shorter in racers. Q said, I hope you're not looking at me when you say that. I was actually looking at him, but I didn't mean him. Now we're talking about the juniors. We're going to GP 3.2, but we're not doing it yet. You know why? We're going to a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the World Championship Tour, brought to you by UIM-ABP Aquabike. This is our first stop right here, the Grand Prix of Portugal, and I can't go any further until I say a special shout out to all of the listeners on the live stream from Brazil. We love you. Thank you so much for listening. I was going to try to say something in Brazilian, but then I realized I don't speak Brazilian, so that wasn't going to work immediately. But I'm hoping I get some feedback because I have some Brazilians up here. So what would you normally say if you were saying hi to everybody in Brazilian? How would I say that? Bom dia, right, is Portuguese.
Hello. Ismael Jenkins.
Oh, Ismael Jenkins is here? Jefferson.
Israel.
And, okay. Cinda.
Yes.
Hello to you all. How do you say hello in Brazilian? How do you say hello?
Olá, Brasil. Olá.
Oh, hola will work. Hola.
Yes.
Como está? Can I do como está too? I'm pushing it now, aren't I? All right, we should stop immediately with the Dawn speaks multiple languages because we know that is not true. You are listening to the live stream on Aquabike World Championship Tour. Oh, my goodness, I've got everybody cracking up. No such language as Brazilian. Thank you for pointing that out. Awkward turtle. All right, so let's do a really quick recap on men's ski. Now we've got back-to-back wins for Kevin Redder on boat number 90 and the Victory team. But, man, you've got to do big props for boat number 88. That is Dan Anderson. And you've also got to do big props for boat number 95, Axel Courtois. That was how the top three looked. Axel with that second place. And, man, that was really, really cool to watch. Axel Courtois, of course, representing for France, and Dan Anderson from Norway. Martin Manny from Estonia got fourth place. Raphael Morin, also from France, in fifth. That's what it looked like on that recap. And as you can see, we are bringing out the micro missiles. This is your GP 3.2 or 10 to 12. And this is going to be moto number 2 for those guys. And this is our parade lap. And while we have the opportunity to do that, let's do a little recap on what's been happening with them for the last couple of days. In the qualifiers yesterday, it was all about Ander Hubert Laurie. Came in with the fastest time. He's from Estonia with the best lap of a 2.0180. He is on boat number 11, so keep your eye out on that double ace. Right behind him, however, Rashid Tayer from the UAE with a 207.36. Now, that's how the pole position looked. Manuel Lite from Portugal, a home product. He came in with a 209.26 and had the third fastest lap time. Now, that was yesterday in qualifying. Then we come around to this morning in our first moto results, and the whole shot went to Ander Hubert Laurie, Rashid Tayer in second, and Martin Brito on boat number 8 in third. Manuel Lite for fourth place, and Frederick Franson from fifth, and Martin Marquez is rounding out your top 6 on a 10 to 12. Oh my goodness. All right, speaking of, you used to be a junior. You remember that. In fact, that's the first time I met you. You were a junior racer, I believe, Mr. Kevin Redberg.
Yeah, correct.
You were shorter.
A little bit shorter and less fit, but yeah, we fixed that.
You fixed that. Well, congratulations on your win in Moto number 2. Same question for you that I had with Eminelli. How do you like the start grid compared to Moto 1?
Yeah, it's now better. You know, Moto 1 was hectic to the first corner, and it was like a mix-up, and you know, not everyone was in line. So yeah, it's easier for the rescues to keep us all lined up before they release us, and we've got actually a start straight now.
Good, because you are a rowdy crew.
Yeah.
So it is hard to keep you in line.
Yes.
All right, so a nice setup, good run. How'd you like the track this afternoon?
Yeah, great. The splits were good, and the whole thing roughened up really quick after a lap, and yeah, just enjoyed.
So from this morning to this afternoon, explain to me, because you looked like you were not as comfortable on the boat this morning, but this afternoon I saw no miscues at all. Was it just you had an opportunity to relax, or just the conditions felt a little better for you?
No, you know, when you get used to the track and when you're really knowing, okay, exactly this turn I can take this fast, and especially the wave conditions around the track. So when you got that all figured out, you're like more relaxed and kind of know what's coming around the corners and where to focus and what to watch out, and where you can relax at some stages as well.
Gotcha. So it really does make a difference just getting that extra time from the motos.
Yeah, correct.
Gotcha. So it had nothing to do with nerves because you're just a rocket.
No.
I like
no,
that.
it's always good to get the first one out of the way, and yeah, you're more relaxed for the second one for sure.
Oh, you were so awesome. It is impossible to ruffle you. It's so easy to interview. Kevin, how many years now have you been racing?
Oh, it's about 14 years now.
So if you could give advice to the juniors, and I know you have some juniors that are going to be racing up next, not in this one,
Correct.
but if you could give some advice to these guys on what to help them, what would you say?
Oh, you know, they're so young, and as a junior, you should just enjoy it. You know, be out there, having a good time and just no pressure, just having a blast with your friends, riding on the weekends, riding every afternoon, and having a good time, to be honest. You know, I don't really want to give them too much advice because it comes with the years, you know. Give them tips, experiences, but, you know, just let them ride and have a good time. That's the most important, I think, and it still is. You know, it shows when I'm having a good time, I'm performing well, and I think that's key.
Yeah, as usual, fantastic advice, and you can see that transcends. You are always very fun to watch, and you can see that you really enjoy what you do. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Great job on moto number 2. All right, let's take it back to the track as we let Kevin go take a break and also relax as we get to our juniors lined up. We just finished that parade lap, but representing for Estonia, the UAE, Portugal, and Denmark. And what a beautiful expression to honor our different countries and for us to have the opportunity to see these athletes from around the world compete. Over 28 countries here this weekend for the Aquabike World Championship Tour. We're getting the juniors lined up. And they have released the juniors. And it's like they're exiting from class at 59 miles an hour. All right, here's our run for the start. That's that green grid that you're seeing. Andrew Hubert, Laurie on it. In fact, all of these guys are actually going to that grid. And wouldn't you know it, young man out of the UAE, that is Rashid Tayer on the green buoys. Going into that split section, and he had a very fast start, second in Moto 1 this morning. And it's going to be Ander Hubert Laurie coming from the blue buoys, and as they meet up on the merge, it's very close between the two riders. Rashid Tayer actually has the line and able to shut the door on that one. It's going to be Rashid Tayer with the hole shot from the UAE. Ander Hubert Laurie in second. And you can hear the wrap-out sound of that two-stroke Yamahas on both those boats. Boat number 53, that's Frederick Franson. In third, Manuel Lite in fourth. And boat number 8, that's Martin Brito in 5th. And boat number 41, that's Martin Marquez in 6th place. Let's talk about these riders a little bit for you so you can get some of the background. For example, Ander Hubert Laurie just came out of that Pinnafield round, the UIM European Championship first tour stop. That was just last weekend. He got second. He was 1 point away from first place. And the gentleman on boat number 20 in third at the moment actually was your winner last weekend. He had a 2-2-1 finish, very consistent finish for boat number 20. That's Manuel Lite from Portugal, another Portuguese product. So the gentleman on boat 11 got second last weekend. And the gentleman on boat 20 got a win last weekend. Rashid Tayer from the UAE, the current leader on this track, actually debuted just this year on the UIM. And his first series of races, local races in Dubai, actually came in third. And he's in a very big field of talented riders. Let's take a look and see as they come out of this section. It is pretty close between Hubert and Rashid. Rashid Hubert going to hold that lead as they come into it. Let's take a look at the times as they hit this first lap. We're 3 minutes into a 12-minute moto. Oh, and Ander spun out just a little bit, and I think, again, that might have been partially the mirroring action from these waves coming off of the wall. It is pretty easy to hit the chimes wrong on the bottom of that boat, and if you're not paying attention, it can actually roll you right off of that boat, and I think he almost lost it, managed to hold on. Fantastic athleticism for boat number 11, Ander Hubert Laurie, still second. All right, here's your times. 3:11.86 on our official full lap, first lap. For Rashid Tayer, 3.1186, so average lap time right now and this afternoon is going to be a 3-minute laps. Ander Hubert Laurie with a 3:1671. Frederick Franson up in third with a 3:2102. Manuel Lite with a 3:2292. And Martin Brito with a 3:3075. And Martin Marquez with a 3:3972. And I can see all of the family lined up right across the finish line so that they can watch everybody because they don't want to miss any of the kids' action here. But here's what's cool. They're not the only ones watching. I've noticed even in the moto this morning, we had quite a few of the other racers out here supporting the kids as they run as well, and so that was pretty neat that we have so many people that want to watch the juniors riding. Also, some of the most commented riders on the feed were the junior classes this morning on the live stream as well. So pretty exciting to see the future of our sport getting so much attention on a worldwide stage. And by the way, they're racing the same exact course as the men's GP ski just got done running. You can see Rashid Tayer once again shutting the door, but Ander Hubert Laurie keeping the pressure on your race leader. Let's see what our times are on lap number 2. (2:01.66) current lap time and a 1:59.12 for Ander Hubert. So Ander at a little faster pace on this lap. Frederick Franson with a 2:04.19 and Manuel Lite with a 2:05. And unfortunately, looks like Frederick Franson down and lost the boat. So we've got the course marshals over. So Frederick Franson just lost that boat right at the end of the far right-hand side of the track. Does cost him a position. Manuel Lite managing to sneak around him, and Martin Brito and Marquez also able to get around, but we're getting back to his boat. Tough break for Frederick Franson. Gentleman from Denmark. Came in 5th last weekend on the European stop. He lives in Næstved, Denmark. 11 years fast, plays soccer, and loves PlayStation. And he's one of the few riders on the Kawasaki SXR. Sponsored by Nanbo Bilar. His debut race, by the way, was the Danish Championship. In 2018, he won that championship. His debut for the UIM was this year. Watching the setup out of that split section, and Ander Hubert had been running a little bit faster, and he sneaks into the lead. Rashid Tayer out of the outside split, unable to shut the door as he had the previous 2 laps. Your new leader, Ander Hubert Laurie, and now he's looking for a pair of aces to match the side of his boat. Great time, 1:56.61, and the current fastest time. 1:56.61 in the second moto. .284, 2:00.84 is Rashid's time on this last lap. Ander Hubert Laurie, you're watching the 10 to 12 class, and we always just get the giggles, right? Because every time I look at that, when they lift up the handle pole, you could tell the handle pole is almost as tall as they are, if not, maybe just a smidge taller. So we aren't kidding when we say micro missiles. Another great nickname we have for them is bottle rockets. Here's the cool thing, call it what you will. If you take a look at the riding style of these guys, you will notice they are already setting up with some pretty impressive skills on these boats. Dropping low into the tray, they're switching legs on the turn, keeping the handle pole low, making sure that their center of gravity is dropped down, and they are also watching the placement as they come into the turns. I mean, this is mad skills for a competitor that doesn't even have a driver's license. And yet looking this solid. And that's not the only skill that I think that helps increase. So it looks like Franson going to run out and pick up the penalty buoy. Now, the reason that a rider would do that is it allows them the opportunity to make up, if you will, if they feel like that they missed a buoy out on the track. Instead of circling back on the track as we used to do in the early 90s, the UIM has actually set it up so that the riders could just go pick up the penalty buoy. It keeps them out of the pace and of the flow of the track, and it allows them to also make up any missed buoys. Now, it is going to cost them in time because that penalty buoy is set back from the regular track. All right, here's your lap time, 1:56.94 for Ander Hubert Laurie. Just a smidge off the pace. We're on lap number 4, and we're 9.5 minutes into this 12-minute moto. Lori Grit, Lori, actually just on the live stream. So proud of you, Hubert. My little brother is amazing. Now, I'm curious, does Lori race as well? I'll just ask her on the stream. And Nedra Atwood tuning in with us, and she says Andrew Hubert Lori has a beautiful riding style. I totally agree. Algo Koos chiming in for his teammates. Go, Hubert, go. Boat number 41, Martín Marquez, currently up in 5th. Martín Marquez, 3rd at the UIM European Pinafeel stop, only 8 points away from 2nd. That must have been a really close race. He had a 3:42 finish. And here's the thing I love about Boat 41. Martín actually already has a nickname. They call him the Mustang. So he races go-karts as well. And he's got a very cool race helmet, and on the side of that helmet's got a little Mustang on the side of it. So the Mustang up in he's in 5th at the moment. You're watching the 10 to 12 class on our live stream, and we are now 11 minutes into a 12-minute moto. Oh, just missed it. There are going to be 2 more laps now. Just saw Ander Hubert come by. By the way, Ander actually rides for Team Speedline Racing. As I mentioned earlier, him and several of the other competitors out here today are on that Yamaha. Such an incredible boat. And while Lite just dropped down into his tray of the ski there briefly, not sure if he pulled the lanyard or just went down a little bit. That is a really tricky area right in front, this front stretch, as the waves are mirroring right back off of the wall into the course. Pretty easy to high side these guys. Rashid Taher, who had the hole shot on boat number 55. Great run up in 2nd. Laurent Boucher, good morning from Lake Havasu City. Hope you guys are having fun. Thank you so much, Laurent. Thank you for tuning in. Current lap time for Ander Hubert Laurie, 1:57.19. Still best time on the track, also posted by boat number 11, but the 1:56.61. We are on lap number 5. And we have 12 minutes, 47 seconds on the clock. So when Ander comes back through on the front stretch and he's just about to hit it, he is going to be greeted by a white flag. That lap time, a 1:56.87, been very consistent throughout these 6 laps, Frederick Franson. Current lap time at 2:11:51. Let's see how Rashid Tahir comes in. Second place rider in your 10 to 12 class. Rashid Tahir with a 2:09.78. So as we recap between this morning and this afternoon, if Ander Hubert Laurie takes this win, he will have performed a hat trick of all 3 of the first moto winners. Now are the second moto winners if he does it. So again, Eminelli with a morning and afternoon win, Kevin Redder morning and afternoon win. So will Anders be able to hold his perfect score, matching the numbers on the side of his boat, double aces? I'll let you know in just a minute. 15661. And as boat number 41 comes through that front stretch, Martin Marquez, the Mustang. I am hazarding a guess that this is probably one of the biggest tracks that these guys have encountered to date. Their first appearance on the Aquabike World stage as our first stop, the Grand Prix of Portugal. Congratulations for back-to-backs. Ander Hubert Laurie, terrific job. No pressure, buddy. But you're continuing the streak. All right, well, that completes what happened this morning session. So all 3 of those were repeats. The winner for this morning, same winner for this afternoon. Congratulations to Frederick Franson, and thank you guys, by the way, for clapping for all of our competitors. All right, lock and load. We've got the big guns coming next. GP Runabout 1 is in staging, and they will be coming out right after this completion for the Junior 13 215s. Up next, we've got more rockets for you. Boat number 55, Rashid Tahir for second. Manuel Lite stopped just a little bit too soon, but congratulations to him, boat number 20. How cute is that? He's like, I'm done. This is great. Almost done, not quite. So they need to take those all the way back to the dock, but congratulations to our top 3 riders. Ander Hubert Laurie, Rashid Tahir, Manuel Lite. Actually, our top 3, Ander Hubert Laurie, Rashid Tahir, and Martin Brito. Brito being third prior to this last lap, and then Lete getting around, so Manuel Lete will finish out our top 3 in moto number 2. So again, Ander Hubert Laurie, Rashid Tahir, Manuel Lete. And then Frederick Franson for 4th, Martin Brito in 5th, Martin Marquez in 6th. That's the lineup, or excuse me, that was the positions for moto number 2. We will be right back after this short break. Welcome back to the Aquabike World Championship Tour. This is the Grand Prix of Portugal, our first stop in perfect Portimao. We're going to be bringing you the entry list. What we've got coming at you next is going to be 13 to 15 It's going to be our final opportunity to watch the juniors this afternoon. This is moto number 2, and then right after that, we're going into Runabout. On the lineup, we've got Theodore Lizeth, who took the win in Moto 1, followed by Diogo Barbosa for its second, Benedicte Drange for third, Mateus Reines for fourth, Esteban Diaz Lopez in fifth, Severi Salonen in sixth, Harley Ritchie in seventh, Luisa Beja in eighth, Mateo Valente in ninth, Luna Garcia 10th, Joao in 11th in Vierno, and on 12th, Diogo Faria. Lots and lots of representation for Portugal. In fact, let's look down this list. Actually, I have 6 riders from Portugal in this lineup. 2 from Spain, 1 from Norway, 1 from Estonia, and a rider from Finland. Great representation for Portugal, and proving that Portugal's got a solid junior program at work here. And Theodore Lizeth with the interesting battle between him and Mateus Reines yesterday in qualifying. So it was a bit nuts in the first pole position in yesterday's qualifying. It was Theodore Lizeth that took that fastest time. But in the second pole position, it was Mateus Reines who took the fast time. And then in moto number 1, it was Theodore Lizeth with the win. Diogo Barbosa, who, by the way, had the whole shot in this morning's moto, but Lizeth overtook on lap 2, getting the pass out of that inside split. Benedicta, meanwhile, was 4th, but Mateo Valente had gotten a lap penalty for an anticipated start, moving Benedicte Drange up into that 3rd place spot. And she actually strategized that. I got a chance to catch up with her, and she had watched the start and said that she was going to just hold back a little bit, not go too aggressive on the ride, and see if that paid off for her, and it certainly did. So that's how the recap for this morning went. Mateus Reines, by the way, normally races on a 328 numbered boat, and also normally on a different boat. He actually is borrowing Salman Alawadi's boat for this race, and he was on that in moto number 1 as well. So OPP does not make it easier for you. And Reines, even with that, ended up in 4th in moto number 1. But they're still trying to rebuild his ski, and hopefully they'll have that back together for Olbia. Twelve riders in the lineup. Drake Lillenfeld also joined on the live stream, and a salute to all of our countries being represented. It's an opportunity for us to honor the athletes in each of these countries. And of course, a big shout out to our host country of Portugal.
No problem.
And when you look at the fact that Portugal has a coastline that spans over 497 miles, and it's known to have 364 days of surf, you can certainly see why it's kind of the perfect place, really, for the first stop on the Aquabike World Championship Tour. And now that we have had the opportunity to complete our Parade of Nations, we're getting the riders lined up And you can see the course marshals, what they do is they span either side of this lineup grid, trying to get them as close to parallel to each other as possible before they make the run. And they're actually heading away from us, and they do release the lineup. Remember, it was Diego Barbosa with a whole shot in Moto 1, but Lizeth snuck around him on that second lap from the inside split. Looks like Barbosa, speaking of the inside split, and it is Diogo again from the inside with the whole shot. Matheus Reines on borrowed property up in second. And Benedicte Drange in third. And Theodore Lizeth in fourth. And here's the whole shot for Diego Barbosa. Matheus Reines in second on Alawadi's boat. And it is Benedicte, that very fast young lady. Younger sister to Matt Drange, who is in that third place spot. Theodore Lizeth from Bergen, Norway, gentleman who won Moto 1 in fourth. And it is boat number 45, Matteo Valente in fifth. You can see Theodore Lizeth on boat number 3. Generally, they run 333 or 332 in the Lizeth family. On the UIM, they are required to run 2 numbers. Probably normally would have grabbed a 3-2, but Matheus Reines normally runs 328. He'd already gotten a 3-2, so Theodore Lizeth grabbed a big number 3 for the side of his boat. Again, back in fourth place at the moment, the winner for Moto number 1, and the story goes to Kev Racing's young rider, Diego Barbosa, on boat number 24. That's going to make 2 hole shots in a row. He is from Viana del Castello, a student riding a Kawasaki SXR 800. Has a couple of sponsors already, 5 Sensei and Motogalos. His first race in the UIM debut is in 2015, and he has got some hefty company behind him. How cool is it to watch these multiple generations now matriculating up into this junior classes? Lizeth, of course, with Oliver Lizeth, who also raced as a junior, now racing in those next level classes. Benedicte Drange, another one. Her brother, incredibly fast, Matt Drange, and I do believe he's watching on the stream. And Matteo Valente. Cool story for this young kid. He was a national champ in 2016. His first race was 2015, and he was in the national championship and won that as well. He's had 5 podiums just on the UIM portion. Excuse me, 3 seconds on the UIM European Tour from 2016 to 2018. He had 2 thirds on the UIM European Tour from 2015 to 2016. So already impressive resume for boat number 45, that is Matteo Valente. Matteo's dad, actually good friends with Paulo Nunes. That's how these guys got involved with racing. Paulo Nunes, who you will be seeing shortly, one of our awesome freestyler competitors. Let's get some numbers for you on their times. Lap number 1, Diego Barbosa with a 3:03.89. Matheus Reines, who had a Fourth place finish in moto number 1's currently in second with a 3:05.60. Benedicte Drange with a 3:07.78 on lap 1. Ooh, got some pressure out of that split section. And that is Matias Reynes putting the heat on Diego Barbosa out of the splits, unable to capitalize. Barbosa is a smart little rider. He shut that door in the double yellows. And the rider down just as they went through that. That is boat number 27, who caught up in a wave over on the right-hand side of the track, and it just rolled that boat right over on him. That was, unfortunately, Diego Faria, and the course marshal's right on that boat to get him back to it. Well, yeah, you can see that Matias Reynes putting some heat on him, despite the fact that he is not on his own machine. He's got a 1:56.78. That was the last lap time for Matias. So I keep my eye on boat number 32. Diego Barbosa, however, was a 1:57.08, just a smidge off the pace. Matias Reynes on that last lap was a 1.41 seconds separating the top two. See, we're looking at an average of 3 minutes per lap for the 10 to 12-year-olds, but when you get to 13, 15, isn't it interesting how much quicker they're already going? And just think back now to some of the lap times that we saw yesterday. So let's just recap, okay? So we've got Diego Barbosa with a 1:57.08. That's his fastest lap time. Kevin Rederer's fastest lap time yesterday was a 1:37. Now, that's not that much difference, 27 seconds, and they're running the same track. Just goes to show you how, in a reference point, how quick these kids really are. And it's deceptive, too. That's Diego Barbosa coming through on the front stretch. Let's check his time, and he's gotten even faster, 1:56.67. Answering the pressure from Matias Reynes. Matias on that lap with a 1:58.73. Benedicte's picking up the pace. She's at a 1:56.61 in third. And now we're in lap traffic, and they've already lapped up to 7th place. Theodore Lizeth in 4th with 1:57.66. And you can see how close the riders are. This is crazy. Really does put it in perspective, doesn't it? A 1:40.53 was how fast Eminelli Ortendahl went in free practice yesterday. Again, just sharing some numbers for you. 1:56.67 is the current lap time for Diego Barbosa. Oh, I got some more kind of interesting news here. Welcome, Claire, by the way. Gene Navarro, welcome. Quentin Bosch chatting with Nedra Atwood, saying I've built top 3 of their skis. Mateus, Teodor, and Benedicta. Should have known Quentin Bosch had some hand in that. Esa talking to Severi, saying don't swim at this moto. And Phil Seegers joined us. How awesome to have Phil in here. By the way, he too had a junior rider, and he knows exactly what it feels like to be a parent on the starting line watching your kid as his Bart and Phil, of course, being a part of that. So Bart is Phil's dad. Phil, junior rider, he knows all about it. It's great to have Phil listening in to us. Phil from Belgium, by the way. Diego leading 1:58.72. His best lap time was 1:56.67, but this current lap time is a 1:58.72. Mateus Reynes with a 1:58.52, and Theodore Lizath sneaking around Benedicte Drange with a 1:57.43. And looking like boat number 17. Hitting the brakes there briefly. That was Luna Garcia, one of our young ladies racing today. We have 3 ladies out on the track at the moment. Luna Garcia, one of them. Luisa Beja from Portugal, also another very fast young lady. She's aboard boat number 7. And then, of course, we've got boat number 10, Benedicta Drange, as well. On the screen, that is Mateus Reines coming out of the inside split, continuing to pressure Diogo Barbosa. We are 10 minutes into this race, 12-minute moto, and you can see as they're working the lap traffic through these laps, Diogo has done a tremendous job holding off Mateus Reines, but now Theodore Lizeth also up there keeping more pressure on, and still no white flag. We are at 10.55. Top 3, Barbosa, Mateus Reines, and Theodore Lizeth. And of those 3, the fastest lap time on that current lap was Theodore Lizeth with a 1:56.96. No pressure. And you can see off in the distance on the right-hand side of the track, we already have in staging our first moto of the fastest class on the water. That is GP1. Runabouts coming next. 11.5 minutes on the clock. They will get the white flag on this next lap. And you are watching Mateus Reines as he pushes through that portion of the back stretch, continuing to keep pressure on Diogo Barbosa, the gentleman that has been training with Kev Racing, who thus far has been unaffected. But you can see Mateus Reines working this outside line, seeing if he can either A, get in Diogo's head, or B, set up a good run as he comes into the split section, and this is the time for him to do it. Diogo goes straight over to the blue buoys again, the inside split. And Mateus Reines is gonna actually go to the greens, and it is Theodore Lizeth that is gonna follow Diogo Barbosa through that inside. So first place is on the blue buoys, and you've got second place Mateus Reines on the green buoys on the outside, and now Lizeth sneaking in on Mateus Reines. Reines has got the line, but Lizeth has the momentum. Man, just at the final turn, door shut. Mateus Reines holding it off, but we've got lap traffic in the way as they come out, and white flag is up for 15-year-old and 13 junior ski. Great class. Top 3, Diogo Barbosa, Mateus Reines, and Theodore Lizeth. Benedicte Drange, 4th. Mateo Valente, 5th. Current lap time for Diogo Barbosa, 1:58.59. Mateus Reines, a 1:58.47. That's how close these guys are. Theodore Lizeth posting the fastest time in the top 3 yet again with a 1:58.03 on that current lap. We are 12 minutes, 56 seconds into this junior race. And they are setting up to come into the split section again. Diogo flying through this lap traffic. Now, because of that, regardless of whether he wanted to or not, he actually had to go into those blue buoys. It's going to work out okay from him. You want that closest point to A to B, so they're always going to run to the inside split if they can, but there is some lap traffic on that inside. Diogo Barbosa making a run on this final lap. Will he be able to hold off Mateus Reines from the outside? And Theodore Lizeth, Mateus Reines chose to go with him through that split. 3 boats separating them as they drop onto the front stretch. Diego Barbosa makes the run on that final portion, and the checkered flag goes to boat number 24, Cav Racing, and you can see the reaction on that boat as he goes across the checker flag. Congratulations, second place, Mateus Reynes. It's going to be third for Theodore Lazath. And what a little rocket ship. That is Benedicte Drange on boat number 10 for the top 4. Mateo Valente going to round out 5. Whew, I had to take a breather on that one. That was awesome. All right, also congratulations to boat number 26, Severi Salinon. Luisa Beja for 7th place, Diago Faria 8th. Diaz Lopez, well, let's just let these guys finish up and then we'll give you the top 10. But again, your top 3, Diego Barbosa, Mateus Reynes, and Theodore Lazath. And you can hear the rumble and the roar in the background as our runabout riders getting ready. Thanks for joining us, Peter DeSmet, on the live stream, as well as Phil Seegers, and we've had a bunch of others jumping on as well as we get the first opportunity to see the runabouts in their motos. Here's a recap from yesterday's action. By the way, congratulations to boat number 18 as well. That is Diaz Lopez Esteban. He's going to end up in 7th. Harley Ritchie for 8th. Luisa Bejas in 9th. And Luna Garcia rounding out your top 10. We'll be right back after this short break. Oh, that's right. We are back. Did you catch me talking all by myself? Welcome back to the World Championship. This is the UIM-ABP Aquabike World Championship Tour. First stop, the Grand Prix of Portugal, and this is a big menu of racing this year. This is our first of 5 stops. We're going to go to Olbia, and then China, and then India, and then round it out at Sharjah. Let's look at the entry list as the rumble continues to increase in the background. That is your Runabout GP class. Yosef Abdulrazak, after a fantastic qualifier yesterday, in the top of the grid, Jeremy Perez, your world champion, in 2nd. Samuel Johnson leaping into this tour in 3rd. Rashid Altair in 4th. Rasmus Hansen in 5th. Mateo Fracasso in 6th. Andres Wisniewski, your Poland champion, in 7th. Christoph Agostino in 8th. More on the 2nd grid, Johan Johansson, who was under the hood less than an hour ago, at 9th. Roberto Alexander in 10th. Alexander Kapitov, 11th. Lorenzo Benalia in 12th. Jan Jensen, 13th. Dmitry Sukov in 14th. Anton Pankratov in 15th. Lino Arujo, a Portuguese home product on that lineup. Frederick Browndow from Germany in 17th. Patrick Agostino in 18th. Jed Demas Leonis, 19th. Anthony Radetic from the U.S. in 20th. Andrea Dominguez, her first woman in the Runabout GP1, also on that final grid. All right, let's talk about what happened yesterday. Yosef Abdulrazak in the pole position on that first one wasn't in first or second. He was actually in 3rd. It was Mateo Fracassa who nailed that fastest time in that first pole position in qualifying, and it was Rashid Altair on boat number 5 that got 2nd. Yosef Abdulrazak was 3rd. Yosef actually came back out in a boat that he borrowed from Martin Al-Haj, and he did a win in the second qualifier with the fastest time, and then came back out today in that free practice, and you can tell he's getting comfortable. Pulled down the fastest lap time, a 1:35.14 in free practice. That just gives you a little bit of a hint of just some of the crazy action happening yesterday. It was Jeremy Perez in Q2 that got second, and Sam Johansson, who had to work his way up that grid, that pulled off a third in Q2 yesterday. Rashid Altair in fourth, and it was Rasmus Hansen from Denmark in fifth place, and Mateo Fracasso right there, he was in sixth. Andres Wisniewski from Poland in seventh, Christoph Agostino in eighth, Johan Johansson in ninth, Roberto Alexander in 10th. That's how it looked in the qualifying rounds yesterday. It's our first opportunity to watch them in GP1, and it's got to be a big moment for two Frenchmen. Here's the story. In 2014, Teddy Pons was actually behind Jeremy Perez in points. Jeremy Perez, Teddy Pons, came to that last moto, and he broke. When Jeremy Perez broke, gave up the championship to his fellow teammate from France, Teddy Pons. And Teddy made a prophetic statement at that moment. What he said to Jeremy was, I hope you are the next Frenchman that wins a world title on the UIM-ABP Aquabike World Championship. And last year, that prophecy came true. And here's what's even more cool about the story. Teddy Pons had been helping Jeremy Perez at the end of the year last year, and he is also helping him this year. And Teddy Pons is actually on site watching one of his friends and one of his best mates as he makes a run for 2019 to defend the world title. Well, there you go. He's got company, however, and that company is four-time world champion Yosef Abdul Razak, sponsored by Zain Finance. He is a Kuwait rider, and he is unstoppable and incredibly talented. So that's just a few of the riders out there, but we're joined by even more. And by the way, Yosef Abdul Razak not on his normal boat. He is still riding Martin Al-Hajj's boat, one of his teammates, and Al-Hajj actually has Yosef Abdul Razak's mechanic that's been working on the boat, so that should not be such a big turnover, yet he is going to be on OPP, other people's property. So just a little bit of a recap for you. Now, we've got a big field, very talented riders. I've been talking about just two of them, but there are a lot of hot ones out there. Christoph Agostino, who had a great run last year, he is also in this field. Marcus Jorgensen, who in 2017 came blazing into the first two stops with wins and then has been plagued with mechanical issues ever since that. And those mechanical issues continued in qualifying with a surprise break on one of the clamps. That was actually the only problem that he was having in qualifying. So I can't wait to see if he's able to pull off some redemption. You were watching the Parade of Nations as these guys coming through. Kuwait represented, France, Denmark, Portugal, Spain, Germany, of course, Colombia with our new rider this year, Andrea Dominguez, the USA, Russia, Sweden, the UAE, Italy, Poland, Estonia, Denmark, Sweden. We're now retiring the flags, and we will get this massive amount of horsepower, hopefully, lined up. Again, if you are watching on the live stream, that top five on the grid is going to be Yosef Abdul Razak with the pole position, Jeremy Perez right next to him on 86. Boat number 4, Samuel Johansson in third, Rashid Altair will be in that fourth place spot, and Rasmus Hansen will be fifth. And then Mateo Fracasso will have the pole position in that second grid. Again, the grids run like this. First through fifth is going to be on the green or going to the green can. It will be 6th through 15th on the yellow can, and then 16 plus will be going towards the red can, or red buoy, red start buoy. You got a shot there of Lorenzo Bonaglia from Italy as they get lined up, and man, that is a lot of horsepower underneath the hood as they try to get these guys sorted. Now, minder, they're going to have course marshals on either side of them in this bracket, trying to get them to line up as closely to parallel and as close to even as possible. They will not release these riders unless they have a solid parallel or as close to even as possible. So you can see there, that is Yosef Abdul Razak on Al Hajj's boat. And even in the moto, strategy is the name of the game. All right, they've got them turned around and they are starting to move. Don't look now, but I think we're doing a re-rack that. Mind you, 24 boats on the line today, 23 boats on the line today. That's right, Al-Hajj unable to little ride. Matea Fracasso, I'm going to take a moment and just try to clear out that engine a little bit. And the course marshals encouraging them to reline up. So they're going to push them back on the grid. Great footage, by the way, from that overhead coverage, and that's Robbie Anderson and all the crew from Case Productions. Really appreciate all your help. Also, special thanks to Neon, coming back once again to sponsor us this year in that Aquabike UIM-ABP Aquabike World Championship Tour. And a special thanks, by the way, to JAS Motorsport Logistics. Just thought I'd do a quick shout out for our sponsors while we wait for these guys to get back in line. It's like racehorses, isn't it? And you can feel the energy already starting to go a lot higher with these runabouts on the water. And this is a very tense moment for them. You got to be in this line right, but you don't want to be too far ahead. So again, you can hear the whistles. Course marshals telling them you got to go back. It's one of the great things about these running starts. They do not mess around on that lineup. All right, so they're starting to bring them in. Let's see if they're able to get them into this lineup. Yosef watching very close, and so is Jeremy, and it's not going to do it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Somebody didn't get the memo. And I'll get you a number on that, but that far outside grid didn't get the memo on the start. They will very shortly, though. Now remember, these guys watched 2 sets of motos before they were able to get out on the water today, so I'm sure nerves are pretty tight at the moment. So again, they're bringing all of these riders back. This is a 25-minute moto, so I do want to make a point here that they have to monitor fuel. So one of the things when we interviewed with James Bushell last year was that was a big deal. Those guys were almost running out of fuel in these 25-minute motos, so you do not want to do too many false starts. All right, the course marshals again actually pushing them all the way back to the dock that runs out laterally to the seawall. Trying to give them an opportunity to line up before they release them. All right, they're starting to bring them back up. And Yosef having to scooch back into position on the pole. Oh, we've already got it. Let's see if they'll hold them or if they're able to get them back. Nope. You know, out of the multiple years I've watched, this is the first time I've seen a 4th restart. Usually we get them after 2. We'll have a 2 maybe on the restart, but this time they weren't able to. And we've got riders down now as well. Boat number 28, that's Jan Jensen out of Denmark. a part of that tough break. And also, it looks like Altair on boat number 5. That's 2 of the top runners now down in the water. Marshall's over there immediately to get those guys taken care of, and it looks like the seat got stripped as well. All right, so a further delay as we make sure that Mr. Jensen and Rashid Altair are both okay. Thank you so much. Burkhard Heiser actually just joined the live feed. Josephine Lindblad shouting out to teammates Samuel and Johansson. Lena Samuelson also rooting on Samuel Johansson. Kim Jensen, go 28. Marcin Sinda has joined us. Big hugs. Go Jeremy, go easy. Sebastian Toye. Good. That'd be awesome. All right, we're going to get these guys set back up. When we get an opportunity, we will get some of the junior riders up here for a quick interview, but let's see what's happening out on the track. Again, we are on a pause as we did have a bit of bumping and rubbing on that final start, and they are towing back in boat number 28. That is Jan Jensen out of Denmark, and a 28, actually. Jan Jensen is going to get checked out, make sure he's okay. Red flag is up, just indicating to the riders that they are on pause so that we can re-rack. Actually, apparently what happened was they connected on that final setup before they went in the turn. Looked like one of the riders realized that it was a false start and tried to correct. The other rider hadn't seen that yet, so 2 of them connected. Hopefully Jensen will be okay. Looks like Rashid Altair hopefully will be okay as well, but that was the 2 boats that were involved. Again, live action right here at Aquabike World Championship Tour. This is the UIM-ABP first round in a perfect Portimao. This is the Grand Prix of Portugal that you're watching in the first moto of Runabout GP1, and we have yet to release the hounds. 4 false starts thus far on this running start. And that, I believe, at least in the several years that I've had the privilege of announcing with the guys, that's the first time I've seen that many false starts. No, it is unusual to see that. These guys generally are able to line up pretty quick. Now, in fairness to the riders and the course marshals, do mind you, they are in a very narrow channel. That's one of the challenges. The second challenge is they're having to come in at an off angle to get that lineup as well. So that makes it more tricky both for the riders and for the course marshals. And again, at the moment, since they are putting this on pause, they're allowing the holders to come out and help the riders. And they're putting the riders up on the dock while they get the gentleman that's needed to come in. And that is Jensen that they're bringing in right now to get checked out. I will give you the update on the riders as we get that. Again, 4 starts, 4 false starts, and now we are on a quick pause. You're watching the Runabout Live. This would have been the first moto. And you can feel it. The anticipation is still there, but now we have this wait for it feeling. So again, the riders are allowing, they're actually, UIM is having the holders go down there to make sure that the riders have got some support on holding those boats. We do not want to bring them all the way back into the dock area because it's not going to be able to hold all 23 of those boats at the same time. So in order to maintain the safety and also allow these guys a quick break and also allow them to save fuel because, again, this moto is massive. This is 25 minutes. These guys are about to put a ton of pressure on those engines. Additionally to that, you are restricted on what size fuel tank you can have, and with a 25-minute moto, that is going to be a concern, particularly because several of those boats took off on both of the starts. Two of the riders are getting taken care of. Again, course marshal back out to pick up an extra boat. Standard operating procedure, by the way, if even if we suspect an injury, even if there isn't one, they will put those riders up on a backboard, and then one of the course marshals will escort that rider in to make sure that they are stable. When they do that, they leave a course marshal boat out there. So what you're seeing out on the track is the course marshals actually going out to retrieve that extra boat. And you could see Marco Petrini, our race director, down on the docks. They're going to do a quick meeting with the riders to sort that out and make sure that our next start is going to be not a false start. So again, a quick meeting with the race director. A day of tons of changes here in Portimao. If you think back to this morning, we actually had a right-hand turn set up. It was a very challenging setup. So when we got to this afternoon and we had the opportunity to switch that starting grid, we intentionally did that, and part of it was for the runabout racers. We wanted to allow them an easier angle to get these boats into the setup turn. We also wanted to give them a longer run at that start, as they typically have on the other stops around the world. That start grid went from a right-hand turn over to a left-hand turn, and instead of having to negotiate a double-double as the women's ski and the men's ski did this morning, they only had to negotiate one double turn in this afternoon's motos. And in every interview we'd had thus far, that had been a big improvement, and the riders really liked that second start setup, that left-hand turn setup. So I'm sure the runabout riders will like it as well, but again, this is a big lineup, 23 riders and a bunch of horsepower we're dealing with. We want to make sure that these guys are safe. Alrighty, so again, back to the race action here. We are waiting for the next start for the Runabout GP1. This is going to be our first chance to watch them in a moto. And yesterday's qualifiers was an indication of just how crazy this year is going to be. Back and forth times. When you look back at the first qualifier yesterday morning, it was all about the Italian rider who already has a world championship at GP2, and that's Matteo Fracasso. Boat number 8 from Italy. He is 40 years old, incredibly fast, and he nailed a wicked time yesterday morning in the qualifier. It was a 1:41.23, and the closest rider to him was Rashid Al-Tayer from the UAE with a 1:41.95. All right, looks like the riders' meeting is complete, so we're going to get these runabout racers back out on the water. While they are warming up and sorting them out, I'll check back us in on this live feed, but I'm sure there's a lot of chatter happening. Yeah, a lot of stress is so very true. Oh, wow, how cool. Jean-Baptiste Body actually able to join us. And I'm sure he has some insights on racing Runabout, as he is no stranger to world titles and certainly no stranger to racing in these different divisions. So a big shout out to Jean-Baptiste Body, one of the best. Yaroslav Jankowski, first race of the season, a lot of stress. Boy, isn't that the truth? Oh, Traley, good question on that. I believe 25 is the maximum amount of riders that you can have on the lineup in the Runabout division. Before we would go to qualifiers, 23 is our current number. I see Egle Seche Levatev is rooting on Jeremy Perez on the live feed. Again, I want to thank you so much for joining us on that live feed. We'll be right back tomorrow with that action. In fact, while we've got just a second, by the way, that is going to start, the motos tomorrow is going to start at 3 p.m. Moto number 3 will start at 3 p.m., but we'll be on the live stream tomorrow at 3 as well. There's a little update on your scheduling so that you can schedule time for us. All right, looks like we've got them, and yeah, they went right into a good lineup here. Let's see if we're going to be able to get them fired, and that is a very solid line as the course marshal's watching them come through. Still watching them, just making sure everybody's parallel or as close to, and that's a release. They are off in moto number 1. Great start for Yosef Abdul-Razak and Jeremy Perez on the first grid. All right, Yosef Abdul-Razak on the green buoys coming from that outside split. And it is Rashid Altair, boat number 5, that is rolling on a hole shot. Yosef Abdul-Razak in second. And that is the call for the hole shot. Rashid Altair followed by Yosef Abdul-Razak in third, Jeremy Perez. Well, I'll be darned. In fourth, it's Samuel Johansson. In fifth, Andres Wisniewski. In sixth place, it is Dmitry Sukov. Part of the Russian Rockets. Seventh is Christoph Agostino. Eighth is Roberto Alexander. Ninth is Anton Pankratov. Good to see him up in that top 10. You probably missed it at the bottom of the screen, but we had a rider that split the double buoys and had to do a makeup run on it. Boat number 18 was the rider. Whew! All right, there's the start. Rashid Altair, and he did that from the inside split. Jorgensen looking for him in there. He was with a fast qualifying time, but then went down due to a loose clamp underneath the hood. Those guys were working on those boats last night. Hopefully able to get that fixed, get out of the water. I'll see if we can find Jorgensen for you. Meanwhile, Rashid Altair, well, he's pretty easy to find. Let's nail this first time on moto number 1 as your leader comes through with a 2:16.19, and it is boat number 11, Yosef Abdul-Razak, your vice champion with a 2:20.19, your world champion defending with a 2:24, Jeremy Perez in third. Samuel Johansson in fourth with a 2:29.29. Wisniewski with a 2:34.32. Christoph Agostino sneaking up into sixth place with a 2:36.91. Dmitry Sukov in seventh with a 2:38.29. Anton Pankratov in eighth with a 2:41.96. Roberto Alexander with a 2:44 flat. Lorenzo Benalia rounds out that top 10 with a 2:49.94. Johansson just on the bubble, 2:51.04 in 11th. Mateo Fracasso in 12th with a 2:52.55. Anton Kabatov in 13th with a 2.54.10. That is about as far as we could go. And Jorgensen is in this mix. He's in 14th with a 2.56.88. I see Andrea Dominguez from Colombia just coming through. She's in 20th with a 3:15.79. Our first lady in the Runabout GP1 class. But that had to be just a very intense moment for her. This is her first opportunity to run on the UIM-ABP Aquabike World Championship Tour. And you see Rashid Altair coming through, a gentleman from the UAE. And another fast time, 1:36.67 for his fastest time, and that was on lap number 2. And Yosef Abdul-Razak looks like they're starting to settle in. He also just nailed a fast time, 1:37.66. Jeremy Perez with a 1:37.44. Yosef Abdul-Razak 5 seconds off of Rashid Altair, but we can all just take a breath and settle as we get going. This is a massive moto, and we are only 4.5 minutes into it. 25 minutes are going to be on the clock today. Oh, I'm sorry, 25 minutes plus a lap. A spin coming out of that front stretch. Now, we've been watching riders deal with this throughout the day, but that front stretch is going to be even more rough for the riders. Johan Johansson just about turned that boat sideways. Fracasso did turn the boat sideways, managed to recover, but that is going to be a big challenge for the Runabout class coming on to that front stretch with all of those waves mirroring right back in it, and it is chaotic, although you can't really see that from the drone footage. We are talking some big waves, and looks like number 78, who's been having problems, that was Rasmus Hansen, who missed a buoy on the lap prior, is now actually having to retire from the field. Andrea Dominguez just coming through. And there is your race leader, Rashid Altair, on boat number 5. He's on lap 3, and his time on the current run is a 1:40.61. Yosef Abdul-Razak, the technician, with a 1:43.14, and Perez just locking in now, and he's got a 1:41.55. And Joe Hansen, this little young phenom, is up in 4th place. Now, mind you, he's only been in this GP class since the last race of the season last year. Prior to that, he'd been running in GP2. And what a great run for him, and actually didn't make the podium last year, but did make the podium as far as getting the 3rd fastest time. And that happened yesterday, and his time was a 1:36.75. So a great start for the Swedish team with boat number 4 at the helm. He is in 4th. Samuel Johansson. Andres Wisniewski in 5th place. And the chaos just continues. That's a great shot, by the way, of the gentleman from Sweden. Mind you, not terribly long ago, he's racing in the juniors division. His dad, his sister, and he all racing on this tour this year. Again, his first race last year was in Sharjah. He placed 8th. He didn't get a podium, and he ended up overall 15th, but what's noticeable about this kid is he actually passed his dad, which cost his dad an opportunity at the podium last year. And when we got the chance to catch up with him, he was like, you know what, I don't even care. It was just so cool to see him doing so good out there. So again, Samuel Johansson, your dad is all for it. Tear him up, bud. It's currently in 4th. Jeremy Perez 3rd. Yosef Abdul-Razak 2nd. Altair from the UAE in 5th. Man, Altair, this guy is a gun. He knows how to race in the boats, as he has done that plenty of times on the F1 H2O Tour. But he's raced in the boats, and he is also racing in the Aquabike series. He's had lots of breakdowns. And Johansson working his way through some lap traffic there. He is up in 3rd. And Yosef Abdul-Razak. Oh, Yosef broke. Yosef is actually moving backwards. He was in 2nd place. All right, so let's think about that. Knowing Yusuf Abdulrazak, there's two things that could be happening to him. Number one, he might be conserving fuel. Number two, he might have heard something in that boat, so he reeled it back in, but he's not pulled off there yet. And while he's definitely slowed the pace down, he's not seeing any smoke out of that hood and not seeing him back off of it too much. So let's see what's going on with Yusuf Abdulrazak, currently back in fourth. It's Altair leading, Perez second, Samuel Johansson in third. Yusuf fourth, Andres Wisniewski in fifth, and a 2:05 was the current lap time. Meanwhile, boat number 3 having to retire from the field, and here comes that run of attrition, so very typical in the runabout class. That is Dmitry Sukov, who had a great start in that top 10, but unfortunately going to have to exit. And here comes your race leader, boat number 5, that's Rashid Altair. And already in lap traffic. And I tell you, that front stretch is going to be wicked sauce. You got Jeremy Perez coming through. Here's the lap time on that current lap for Rashid Altair, 1:46.61. Jeremy Perez with a 1:43.99. And Sam Johansson with no traffic around him at the moment in third, 1:45.18. And Yusuf Abdulrazak tried to hold back the tide, and the tide behind him is coming in the form of a Polish champion. That's Andres Wisniewski. Andres Wisniewski, and Yusuf is going back even further. Looking for Yusuf out on the track, or if he is down. He was still going. We looked at the back stretch. There he is. He's just coming into the double yellow. Meanwhile, Johansson up in third, Wisniewski fourth, Christoph Agostino fifth, Anton Pankratov in sixth. Oh man, yeah. This is Yusuf Abdulrazak you just saw coming through. He's on the 11th boat, and he is sitting back in 12th place. And as you look out over the right-hand side of the track, Yusuf now has the hood up on Al Hajj's boat. And that is not a good space. So Yusuf Abdulrazak on the right-hand side, dead in the water. Meanwhile, Rashid Altair leading moto number 1, followed by your defending world champion, Jeremy Perez. Rashid's best finish last year. He was 20th overall at 5 motos that he was able to make, 1 DNS. His best was in Olbia with a 4th in Moto 1, ended up with a 6th overall last year. So this would be a big adrenaline hit. You're watching Christoph Agostino, who's in 5th place. All right, our time at the moment, 11:46 out of a 25-minute moto. We are still less than halfway through the race. Lap number 6 for Rashid Altair. His best time thus far, 1:36.67. Jeremy Perez's best time was a 1:37.44. And you've got your camera on Jeremy Perez. And as you take a look back there, you can see the wrap for the bond line starting to come undone. It's not really going to affect any horsepower, but it is certainly annoying. You can see it slapping the side of him as he's coming through, but in typical pro fashion, he's just ignoring it at the moment, but that's what's coming off. It's the rubber protector that goes over the rivets on the upper and lower deck on the runabout. Your eyes on boat number 86. That is Jeremy Perez, your defending world champion. And what a year last year, 2018 is what it looked like. He had 156 points, 6-point separation between him and Yosef Abdul-Razak. Out of the 7 motos last year, Jeremy Perez had 4 wins. They were all podiums. Best back-to-back was Olbia and Sharjah, and when they came into that final round of the year, there was only 5-point difference between Yosef Abdul-Razak and Jeremy Perez. That's how close it actually was when they got to the final podium of the year, and it was an incredibly emotional moment for the Frenchman. Meanwhile, he's on the track in second place. His current lap time, a 1:45.11, best lap 1:37.44. Rashid Al-Tayer, the gentleman from the UAE, currently leading. His best time is a 1:36.67. 13 minutes, 36 seconds on the clock, 25-minute moto. Boo, yeah. By the way, Jeremy's 8 seconds behind Rashid Al-Tayer on the track. Sam Johansson in third from Sweden. His best time, a 1:39.03. His current lap time, a 1:50.94. Oh, by the way, here's an update on Jan Jensen, boat number 28. He is going to be okay. He was just fine. He was able to walk off of that stretcher. So there's your update on boat number 28 and that crash. As we continue on this, you're looking at 14:40 in this one. Rashid Al-Tayer with a 1:36.67. We're on lap number 8. Perez second. Oh, unbelievable. Boat number 11 still out there. That is our vice champion, Yosef Abdul-Razak. Now, on that recap, he actually came into that first lap in second place, but he is starting to drop back. The good news is he's still able to work his way around the track, try to get some points up. The bad news is he went from second place to 17th. That is a tough break for a gentleman that is a 4-time world champion. Let's see if he's able to work that boat and hold on to OPP, other people's property. That's Al-Hajj's boat, same mechanic. But again, anytime you are jumping on somebody else's machine, it is much harder to hold on to it, particularly when you've got conditions like this that you've got to deal with. Rashid Al-Tayer, lap 8, 1:36.67. In your screen in that black boat with the bright yellow helmet. Rashid, as I mentioned, also races H2O boats. He finished second in 2012, lives in Dubai, was born in Cairo. Now, here's a surprising thing about him. You see him out there, and he is charging like he's all 20 years old. He's actually 40 years old. But an incredible athlete. Oh, and another tough break. That's Matteo Fracasso that is actually down in the middle of the track, and he, too, is going to have to get a tow hook. Yeah, that bond rail just continuing to separate on Jeremy Perez. In case you're wondering, it's that big rubber strip that's actually holding all the rivets together. It's not going to affect the handling of the machine, but it is a pain for sure. All right, again, Matteo Fracasso going to retire from the field. (16 minutes, 56 seconds). Shout out to Ghanem Al-Mari, who is rooting on his teammate. Go Rashid. If he holds on to this, it's going to be one of the best finishes for Rashid Al-Tayer. In 2018, his best finish was a 4th in Moto number 1. In 2017, he had a really tough year. Ended up 32nd out of 6 races, 3 DNFs and 3 DNSs. So this would be a massive boost for boat number 5, Rashid Al-Tayer. And man, he really did a great job even in qualifying. Taking a look back at the pole position, he came into today with a 4th place pole position. Had the second fastest time yesterday in the first pole with a 1:41.95. he has definitely been on the charge. And really the only thing holding this rider back has been troubles underneath the hood. No lack of talent. All right, Jeremy Perez still on pressure with him, and he is closing that gap. 1:36.67, as I mentioned, was the fastest time for Altair in a 1:37.44. But here's where you can tell the difference. Altair starting to fade just a bit. This last lap, he was at a 1:48.50. Jeremy Perez, on the other hand, ran that one at a 1:42.56. 6 seconds difference. And we have 18 and a half minutes on the clock, so we got a lot of racing left. 8 more minutes to go. Rashid Altair is going to have to dig deep. Johansson, respectable run for the Swedish rider. Then third, fastest time, a 1:39.03. He's only 3 seconds off of Altair's fastest time. And you can see Altair just coming back into that split section. Now that was the double-double I was telling you about this morning. That was the original start grid. You can see where they went to the double yellows and then back to the double reds, and then they had to decide which split they were going to take, and that's the area that Rashid Altair is in currently. Nice shot of Samuel Johansson on our very small backstretch. And he having a super brief opportunity to take a stretch if he's going to, but man, he has just been running super solid. That is boat number 4, Samuel Johansson, your rider in third. Current time for him is a 1:49.68, so he's running comfortable. By the way, gentleman right behind him, Andrzej Wisniewski, your Polish champion. Gonna keep pushing. And there is just one lapped rider is separating Rashid Altair, giving him just a wee bit of a breather between him and Jeremy Perez, but he has got to keep his eye on the rear view mirror, and Jeremy Perez already got around the lap rider. So the pressure back on Rashid Altair. We got a lot of laps to go. And Yosef Abdul Razak, and that body language speaking volume, you can see he's just standing straight up in the seat, just praying that that boat makes it around. The surprising news is he's only dropped back one more. He's 18th currently on the grid after that massive amount of hard work just to get on the pole position with the qualifying yesterday, and then great free practice this morning with the fastest practice time, and then to have it all go south on you is a tough one. All of that after having to survive not 1, not 2, but 4 false starts. And you can see boat number 22, that's Anthony Radatic, as he works his way through. He's in 16th. Fastest time for him, a 2:0019. Here's your top 10 up on the grid on the left-hand side. Altair, Perez, Johansson, Wisniewski, Christoph Agostino, Pankratov, Marcus Jorgensen, who moved up. He was in 12th and now in 7th. Johansson 8th. Roberto Alexander 9th, and Lorenzo Benalia, who's also setting up to have a great year, your rider from Italy. Oh, Taylor has got more pressure. Jeremy Perez, with nobody in between him, has continued to sneak. Let's take a look at the times. 1:46.50 for Altair and a 1:43.57 for Jeremy Perez. And that would be Rashid Altair's reaction to that. What? We're on lap number 12. Ugh, I can only imagine the forearm pump happening right now, trying to hold on to that much horsepower. Oh, I bet you're curious, because it's exactly what I just did. I went down and took a look at their average kilometer per hour. In the free practice this morning, Yosef Abdul Razak was averaging 90.81, 90 miles an hour on this track. That was their approximate speed this morning. Jeremy Perez at an 88.94. So yeah, that's a lot to hold on to for 25 minutes. 22:21 on the clock. And no change in leadership yet. Let's see what happens next couple of laps. See that bond rail continuing to peel off the back of Jeremy Perez's boat. Again, not going to affect him, and it's not a safety issue. And he has got Rashid Altair in his target sights. Boat 25, that is Wisniewski, gentleman from Poland. Polish champion multiple times. In 2018, he had a good run. He's only 7 points away from the podium, and Perez, pressure, pressure, pressure. All right, Rashid Altair coming through, but Jeremy Perez moves into that lead with a 1:37.44 is the best time, and as we had talked about on that last lap, 1:44.89. He's now your new leader. Altair 1:47.58, and it was the lap traffic that finally did him in. Jeremy, your new leader. Oh man, Teddy Pons has got to be going nuts right now. I wonder where he is. Hopefully we'll get a chance to get Teddy Pons and also Jeremy Perez up here for an interview. That would be awesome. Meanwhile, your vice champion still on the track. He is in 19th, and we are at 23:54 on the clock. Jeremy Perez, your defending world champion, at the top of the screen. And depending on where he ends up on this one, we're at 24:15. And if he times this right, he will get the white flag on this one. If he doesn't time it right, will be 2 more laps to go. See what happens for Jeremy Perez. And he is in the split section on that inside split at the moment. So chances are good that he will be getting the white flag on this lap. Man, what a mess of whitewater out there, particularly on this very technical section, which is just coming out of the splits. Holy traffic jam on the front. And Rashid Altair coming through. White flag is up for Jeremy Perez. Good timing. Woo! Like a hot knife through butter on that one. He just passed 5 lap riders in that last lap. That was a lot of drama in a little bit of time. Jeremy Perez, the gentleman that you're watching, came out of this first lap in 3rd, has moved up into the lead, and good timing on it. We're at 25:47 on the clock. White flag is up for Jeremy Perez, who just got faster and faster throughout this 25-minute moto, and it was that momentum that carried him through, making the pass on Rashid Altair, who up to the second to the last lap held the lead after a spectacular hole shot. Big shout out to that gentleman from the UAE. And speaking of shout outs, the clapping that you're hearing is for Sam Johansson, gentleman in 3rd. He's got a 1:52.14 on this lap. His fastest time, a 1:39.03. And the Swedish team has got to be very excited with that finish. And what is happening on the left-hand side of the track? Got a spinner out there. Now, generally, if you miss a buoy, the whole idea behind that is to go pick up the penalty buoy. Oh, that was Wisniewski of all things. Man, that was a big upset. Wisniewski was in 4th, and that is going to cost him. And checker flag drops for Jeremy Perez. Congratulations to our defending world champion. Perfect way to start the first stop on the 2019 World Championship Tour on the UIM-ABP Aquabike stop right here at the Grand Prix of Sharjah, or excuse me, Grand Prix of Portugal on the road to Sharjah. Huh, that was epic. Rashid Altair immediately going over there to give him some props. Great job for our gentleman in 2nd. Still wonderful run for the gentleman from the UAE. He had a 1:36.67 for a fastest time in 2nd place after a great hole shot, and another very fast rider just coming through, and that is going to be Mr. Johansson. We'll just wait for him. He's coming. Wait for it. See Lorenzo Benalia coming in. Frederick Browndow. Man, mad respect. And I tell you, you got to hit it to Yosef Abdul-Razak managing to milk that boat for an entire 25 minutes. Frustrating in for the Kuwait rider and the vice champion, but even with all of that, he is going to hopefully end up in that top 20, keep the boats at least on the scoreboard, and the hands clapping are going for Sam Johansson from Sweden, nailing that top 3. Best finish for this gentleman out of Sweden and his first time to be on the entire tour. Whew. That was nuts. All right, they're showing Andres Wisniewski as 4th place. We'll see if he gets a penalty for circling those buoys. Christoph Agostino on boat number 10, going to be 10th. Shouts going out to boat number 27. Looked like a piggyback ride there for Kabatov. Not your normal way to bring the boat back in. Still, awesome job. Again, congratulations, Jeremy Perez, your defending world champion, for that astonishing finish. I didn't get a chance to see what operation we had as far as Abdul-Razak. Yes, we did. He came in 17th on that final lap. Also, a shout out to your vice champion. We will be right back with even more updates after this short break. Exciting finishes we just got through watching, but I'm not at all surprised. Runabout GP1 always seems to bring some of the best action, and it would make sense considering they're some of the fastest boats on the water. But we are not done with you yet. We still have Freestyle coming at you, and we've got some brand new riders joining us this year. So all that action and more. Welcome back. You're watching the World Championship UIM-ABP Aquabike Tour. This is the Grand Prix of Portugal. And yet another taxi ride, just a little quick Uber lift for boat number 22. That is Anthony from the U.S. who's getting a hitchhike back in. An unfortunate side effect to this typical attrition that we get in that big class. Man, 25 minutes of drama. I need to catch my breath, and I'm pretty sure you guys do too. I want to thank you for joining us on the live stream. And man, the stream lit up with a ton of cool comments. Let's see what's up. Lots of shouting out for Jeremy. Again, Jeremy Perez did take that win. Moto 1. Altair 2nd. Sam Johansson 3rd. And again, all of this is unofficial, of course, but Andres Wisniewski for 4th, Christoph Agostino 5th, Marcus Jorgensen 6th, Anton Pankratov 7th, Johan Johansson in 8th, Lorenzo Benalia in 9th, and Roberto Alexander rounds up your top 10. Woo! As if this one isn't enough action. We've still got Freestyle. 8 riders are going to be coming at us today. And then, but wait, there's more. We are going to take a quick break, and then we're coming right back at 8 o'clock tonight, and we're going to be doing a night show, and that is going to be a parallel slalom challenge. And that'll fire up this evening around 8 o'clock. And right after that will be a freestyle exhibition, and that'll be about a 10-minute expression session, if you will, for all the freestylers, where they'll be out on the water at once. All of that under the Portuguese stars. I couldn't pick a better place to hang out and have some more fun on the water. Here's a quick update on what's going to be happening tomorrow. We're going to get up pretty early, but you don't have to tune in yet on the live stream until 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and that is when Moto number 3 is going to start for Ski Ladies, and our order is going to look like this. Ski Ladies GP at 3, and then we'll have the men's division, GP1 ski, and then we will have the juniors, both sets, 10 to 12, and then 13 to 15, GP 3.2 and GP 3.3. Followed by Moto number 2 of Runabout GP1. That'll be the final Moto for Runabout GP1. And then we will also complete Freestyle with their final tomorrow afternoon. All that action starting at 3 p.m. Sunday. Do not miss it. We're going to be here earlier than that, though. We're actually going to have our riders briefing tomorrow morning at 10:30. That's more of a housekeeping announcement for everybody hanging out since we have so many riders hanging with us. Then we'll be doing a free practice also tomorrow morning. So if you were here, you get to be a part of all of that. So I invite you to come and join us in Olbia. It's going to be our next stop in just a couple of weeks. If you want to find out about that, just go to aquabike.net and you'll be able to catch up with the calendar for this year. And man, it is a big one. We had our, well, hello there. You guys just all popped up out of nowhere. Were you? It's like the entire ladies lineup just popped up in front of the announcer tower. All chilling like villains. Oh, I'm sorry, the ladies and Dan Anderson. And, of course, Udi. Ulrich. Or we'll just call him Intake Great. He's going to kill me. Oh, I got the look. I knew I was going to. He's going to beat me for that one. Ulrich Bernsen, of course, incredible racer. Just had a tough break in qualifying. His Intake Great actually came off, and anybody that's ever had to deal with that, it's an instant high-speed dismount. So that, unfortunately, is exactly what happened to him in qualifying. Able to come back out on a reserve boat, and did great, both in the final part of the qualifying as well as the motos today. So, again, we're on standby as we get ready for our freestyle competition. And as I'm looking out over the river at first, I'm like, wait a minute, why are we bringing the runabouts back out? But you know what? That's just some of the locals out having a great time this afternoon. That's something we should be doing. And as we catch our breaths, hopefully it was enough time for one of our buddies to catch his breath after an incredible run. I am finally getting a chance to catch up with Jeremy Perez. How you doing?
Hi, good.
Good grief on those starts. Give me a recap.
Yeah, on the start I was few block. I start third. I crashed a little bit with one rider on the double red. I lost all around my jet ski, the bumper.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I start third, and I follow Youssef, and one moment Youssef has some problem. So I try to stay behind, and was good. After with all tire, I wait a little bit, and I overpass him.
So was Teddy watching?
Yeah.
Was he pretty excited?
Yeah, he told me that I do the best job. So.
Oh, that is so cool.
So it's good.
That's very, very cool. Yeah, you ran a really great race. Jeremy, what's it like when you have to keep lining up on those starts? How do you maintain your focus on something like that?
Yeah, it will be difficult, but tomorrow will be a good day. We have a lot. Youssef will start from the back.
Yeah, tough break.
But we have all tires that have a lot of speed. Top speed is very high. So tomorrow also, if second, it's okay, you know.
You're not even
I want
breathing
to win, but
hard.
the championship is long.
That's
so
true.
we need to take points and to stay on the water.
So it's all about consistency.
Sorry?
It's all about consistency.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear you. You are not even breathing hard. Have
Yeah,
you been
yeah.
training pretty heavy this winter?
Yeah. With snowmobile and jet ski, so we're training a lot, and the work pay.
Well, wait, I can't tell if that's training or you're just having fun.
Yeah.
Both.
No, yes, I'm very happy how I overpass all tire here in front, and I push very hard for passing because he's very strong, and I'm happy of my race.
Yeah, you kept the pressure on him throughout the race.
Yeah.
Great job. How are you liking the track?
Yeah, perfect.
Track is perfect. He's already getting a lot of people coming up and congratulating him even as we're talking. So Marta Sorrentino Perez unable to race this year, but I noticed she's been front and center supporting you. Her reaction when you got off the boat.
Yeah, thank you. And I want thanks to everyone that helped me. Easy Rider that support me a lot for all the race and all my sponsors. And I think I hope a lot of people look the live. And,
there were a ton.
Yeah, all the world.
We had a ton of people on the live stream and a lot of people rooting for you.
That's good. Thank you.
You're very
welcome. Thank you to all, and see you.
Our pleasure to have you here once again, Jeremy. And great year last year and a perfect start, I think. 2019.
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah, I tried. You're so humble. It's crazy.
I want. This year I want again win this title.
Yes, of course. Well, go get some rest. Relax.
Yeah.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
And this night in the slalom.
Oh, you can do slalom tonight?
Yeah.
That's right. Now, are you going to use the same boat or a different boat?
No, different boat.
Okay.
Yeah,
now,
I keep my boat.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, and I will use Teddy Ponce's boat for the slalom.
Did he say that was okay?
Yes. It's him saying me to not use my boat, to leave my boat for the race and use his boat.
Oh, very cool.
If I broke his boat, that's mine.
If he get a chance, if he wants to, have him come up. I'd love to get an opportunity to interview him. What a great story between the both of you and 2014, which clearly was a pivotal year for you both.
Yeah,
I'd love to.
We fight and now we work together.
Yeah,
that's good.
What a neat story. All right,
Yes.
bud, go relax. I know you.
Thank you.
You deserve a rest for sure after all of that, bro. That was crazy.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir. Talk to you soon, Jeremy.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was Jeremy Perez, your defending world champion and your winner in Moto #1. And a great feedback from him on what it was like to endure 4 starts and an incredible amount of rough water. Kept the pressure on Rashid Altair all the way through that for the win. Wonderful job from a gentleman aboard the 86 boat. Beautiful view over the water, and you can see what a picturesque town that we get the privilege of hanging out with, and they have been just incredible hosts for us this weekend. Can personally attest to great food, and these guys, just the greatest generous spirits. They're very fun and very fun-loving and mischievous. It has been a real privilege to get an opportunity to be in Portugal, and particularly in Portimão. Light breeze coming over the water. And we've had very moderate temperatures, mid-70s throughout the week thus far, although it was supposed to heat up a little bit today, and it did. Every time the wind dropped down, it got warm here. We're looking at upwards of, starting to get towards 30 degrees centigrade. Got to be warm again tomorrow. Clear skies coming in to this weekend for today and for tomorrow. But when we landed at the first of the week, it was dreary. I know quite a few of the crew and riders coming in from Lisbon and other parts of Spain, and in dropping down into Lisbon and Portugal. And so they were saying that it was pretty dreary throughout that drive. And then right around the end of Thursday, it just got beautiful. Right here down on the river. Now, this river is a narrow channel, and a bit of the conditions that the riders have been dealing with the last couple of days involve both fast current and a pretty drastic drop in and rise in the tide throughout the day. And that has been a bit of a challenge, not just for the riders, but for the course marshals and the officials as well, because you got to imagine the entire idea behind these courses. They post these courses months in advance up on the website. These guys are able to print the courses out and study the courses before they ever get to the race site. So they want to make sure that they're able to imitate what they printed up on the website as close as possible. So that's been a lot of fun. In fact, if you take a look out over the water, you could see the course marshals, even as we speak, checking the anchors and the lines to make sure that the buoys are set up for tomorrow's set of motos. And as we get ready to go, we've got one of our first competitors. you're about to watch Freestyle. And this is a gentleman from Russia, Vladislav Vodobev. Over 6 feet tall. He is riding a Richter boat and a nice setup, and he had an opportunity to catch up with me early this morning right before the riders meeting, so I wanted to chat with him about, because he's new to the tours, one of the areas that you're wanting to work on, and one of the things that he said he really wanted to focus on for 2019 is the transitions. So one of our newer riders for Freestyle, and the other thing he's been working on is barrel rolls. And he has a very interesting job, actually sells medical devices. Nice backflip. You know how he got into this sport? He actually originally was a snowmobiler. Okay, you can see he's doing a little quick 180, little flares it out. So originally a snowmobiler out of Russia. Well, that would make sense. But he said during the summer he was bored, so he took up jet skiing. And then he went straight from there to freestyle. And as you know, this sport can be a bit addicting. And now we have the lucky privilege to have him up on the tour. Great little 180. And again, he's just starting out in his career. Another quick 180, flat spins it. And this is just real good old school tricks that we saw a lot of late 80s and early 90s. Robbie Anderson will remember all that. All right, doing another little quick setup. And a 1-footer on the back flip. Just skims the nose out of that. And in case you were watching us and you're not familiar with Freestyle, you'll notice the guy's kicking the boat a lot. Reason for it is they have a lot of them have customized footholds, and you can actually see that flat deck in the back. It's not like a typical jet ski stand-up design. It's got a very flat deck, so what they want to do is be able to get the foot locked into that foothold so that they can launch when they hit the throttle. These boats have a ton of low-end thrust. Wow, barrel roll, good job. Now, he was talking about how he had been working on this, a brand new trick for him. And not only would he do a great job with it, but he landed it very clean as well. Another little quick flare out. That was very typical of a competitor that used to do freestyle in the 80s, and that was Larry Rippenkroger. He used to do those really fun little flares. So did Lloyd Berlew. Watching Vladislav Vodobev, lives in Moscow, and a department head at CHM Poland is the company that he works for. That engine that you're hearing, that really deep bass sounding engine, nice 1-footer backflip. That engine is compliments of DASA, and of course Kyle putting that operation together. And DASA, a very well-known company in freestyle, and man, if you're going to do a good engine, DASA is one of the engines you want to get in there. One of the other things that Vladislav really likes to do is into aviation, and right now studying to be a pilot. Another little setup on that wake, and you can see that responsive Richter answers the call, sets up into a nice backflip. Quick little 180. Again, a lot of what I would call old school work, and that's exactly what you should do when you're really learning how to do a lot of these transitions. Did a great job, and that is going to do it with the second whistle. And congratulations once again to Vladislav Vodobev. Woohoo! That was gratuitous for the crowd, a triple. Well, went for the triple. Almost got the triple. Eight competitors in freestyle this afternoon. One of our biggest fields this year. And another one of the crowd favorites, boat number 20, and that number having special significance in Portugal. And that is in memory of a beautiful young lady named Beatrice Curtinall, and that is why Paulo Nunes has that on the side of his boat. volleyball helmet for safety gear. And he does a very fast setup on a brand new boat. He got this from Lee Stone. It's called the Revolver. He's also sponsored by HydroTurf. Triple backflip, rode it out. Nice job for Paulo Nunez. 180, 180, gives a great nod over to the judges in the crowd. Prior to being able to do freestyle this last year, he'd actually been focusing all of his time and efforts on Joanna Grassa, a young lady that's racing in the women's division, in his sweetheart. Great double backflip for Paulo Nunez. And last year, Joanna was like, you know what, you ought to go and compete in freestyle. And so sure enough, Paulo Nunez started out in 2018 and our first opportunity to watch him in the freestyle division. And it's been super fun ever since. And apparently Lee Stone actually came out and hung out with these guys, getting this boat tuned up for him this year. Backflip, and I was really looking forward to this first competition. Still am, but I have to say I was so bummed out. I heard that last week he actually pulled his hamstring fairly severely. Joanna and he have been working on that. He went to PT religiously in between the two events. Nice setup wake, goes right into another backflip for Paulo Nunez. Fast 360 transition. That's one of the advantages to having one of these revolver boats. Little off-camber backflip, almost able to ride it out, and that might be an example of having to deal a little bit with that injury. Yeah, you can see that one definitely tweaked a little bit. So cool to have him here with us. And 2018, he got a second. Coming into a 10-point lead. His best finish was in Sharjah with the second overall and 60 points. Another little setup wake for Paulo Nunez. And a 360 goes right from that, transitions into a backflip. Another big 180, 180. Those are the kind of combos you like to see. You want to see these tricks flow from one to the other. That definitely helps with your score. Turned that into a one-hander lander. Backflip. You notice how hard he has to pull on that handle pole? That's completely counterintuitive to a typical racer. They want to have a very loose, reactive, responsive handle pole. Nice backflip, and he takes that right back towards the crowd. But in freestyle, they want to put that pole into a position and then hold it. It's like they use it for leverage, so whenever they're trying to do that backflip. So they don't want the pole to move once they lock it in. And that's going to do it, complete the time for Paulo Nunez. And you can see the different categories for each one of these sections, and the crowd cheering him on as they come back in, and one of our favorites from Portugal, Paulo Nunez. We judge several different categories for this. We're looking like things for variety, number of tricks, flow, the number of unique tricks. And from out of nowhere, I look out and there's a tugboat. Random, couldn't resist. Not our next freestyler, by the way. He will be coming up shortly. Woohoo! And our next competitor, Sergei Chemisov, also from Russia. In 2017, 7th overall. He only attended a couple of events, Dubai, overall with a 1-point lead. He won that event. He's only 17 years old, but I think you're going to love this guy's routine. It opens with a big backflip into a series of fast 180s, ends that combo with a backflip, and then goes into some real old school, and that's a tail stand. Pivots the tail stand around, rides that back out, all of it under control. But tail stand's one of the first tricks we ever saw on the freestyle circuit. Barrel roll, 180, 180, and yet another 180. And then transitions right into a backflip. All of that right in front of the judges. 360, another 360. And then back into another backflip. All of those tricks, especially the 180s, it seems like they're pretty simple. It's deceptive, though. They're a little bit more tricky, but they need those transitions. Another great combo, 3 backflips in a row. You are watching our second Russian rider. This is Sergey Kemezov. Big on that 360 and then reversed it into a couple of 180s, sets up on a backflip. We'll just make that a double. We talked about old school. That is yet another old school trick. That's where they do a nose stab, and there's lots of variations of that, but never gets old. And it also is a little trickier than it looks, because once you dive that nose underwater, depending on where your balance is going into it, you can go off camber and roll right off of the side of the boat fairly quickly. Sounds like Sergey getting some help from his buddies, and a barrel roll, and rides that one out as well. Sergey Kemezov. And this is Team TSCH Freestyle. He also is sponsored by Lee Stone Products, and a 1-footer on the backflip. Whistle comes up right in that series of 180s. And as you look a little bit further down the seawall, you can see quite a crowd has lined up for the freestyle event. Not really sure on the intentions on that. It looked like it was pretty cool, but whatever it was, he didn't like it halfway in, and they do need a really good setup. I know what it was. He was trying to set up for a throw, managed to execute it too, right in time. That will count towards the final score. One of the more difficult tricks that you will see performed this weekend is going to be those throws, and we've got a couple of different types of them. That looks like the beginnings of a Ghost Rider. And a great job once again for Sergey Kemezov, gentleman that is sponsored by Lee Stone Products and championat.com. Great shot of our summer crowds. And another little quick nose stab right over the top of the buoy. Now, I do know in closed course they tend to frown on that when you go over the top of the buoy, but not so much in freestyle, unless, of course, you break the buoy, then it becomes a whole new ball game. Such a pretty afternoon here in Portimao, Portugal. Our next competitor coming up, Alexander Karimshin, another Russian. Alexander in 2018. Best in Sharjah, third overall with 45 points. He came in with that five-point lead to grab the podium, and his first podium ever. Wow, good opener for a gentleman aboard a Richter boat. Massive air on that backflip and the barrel roll, part of that combination. And you like to see a strong combination with a lot of transitions and a lot of different tricks in the opener. It's a good opportunity to grab the judge's eyes, and that was a smart move on his part. Follows that up with a 1-footer on a backflip, lands it, and landed that one as well. Make that a 2-for-1 special. You're watching Alexander Karemjian with his first podium finish ever last year. And he is on the hunt for another one. Big barrel roll for Alexander Karemjian, and that's the other thing you like to see is some good altitude on that, because that helps with those transitions and into the combos. More altitude you've got on the first couple of tricks, that's going to help you continue that momentum on, and he's doing a great job. 4 solid moves in a row here, and a double. Make it a triple and a quad. 5, 6, count along, 7 back flips for Alexander Karemjian. Fantastic on that. Now he had a backflip, had a 1-footer landing, and he also had a 1-hander lander on that backflip. A little added difficulty whenever you're able to take either your hand or your foot out, because it makes it riskier and a little more technical to land those. Now you're noticing they're creating these big circles like they're making their own waves. That is in fact exactly what they're doing. Nice 360 for Alexander Karemjian. What they're trying to do is create a setup wake that allows them to launch the nose of that boat up quicker, and also allows them to get that amplitude and the altitude that I had spoke about a little bit earlier. Flat spin or a flare move. It's not really necessarily a point adder, but what it does is it allows them to get into these transitions, and that's what they need to do. Great. Oh, another 1-hander lander for Alexander Karemjian. I love the fact that on the final portion of that, he's actually facing back towards the crowd. Shows fantastic showmanship, and it also allows him to interact. Looks like the flags are up for the last portion of this routine. Looked like he was trying to go for a nose stab. Barrel roll. Goes right into a tail stand, and that also trickier than it looks. Now, if he'd have continued that rotation, we'd have called it a Hollywood corkscrew. That would have been first invented by Scott Watkins, or as we like to call him, Hollywood Watkins, gentleman that currently works for Yamaha. Great job for Alexander Karemjian. And he just continues to improve. Alexander with 2 Aquabike podiums in 2017 and 2018. Competed in 2017 in the Russian Championship. He was also a Russian freestyle champion. And he had a very solid run in this afternoon's freestyle competition. And you only have to see this gentleman one time, and it is unforgettable. He always comes out with a very specific color. I'll just leave it at that until you see him. But once you see him, there's no missing him. The one and only Roberto Mariani on boat number 70. And he always has a bright yellow boat of some configuration, or bright green, with black. Now, last year, I got to tell you, was one of my favorite designs of his of all time. He actually had a reverse design on the boat. So if you looked at it from one way, it was black with green. And then when he reversed the boat, it was green with black. It was very, very cool. Again, Roberto Mariani, one of the favorite competitors on the tour. And you'll see why in just a minute. He's pretty vocal, generally. And one of the other fun things about watching him, and you'll get to see it about halfway through his routine. Nice opener. He goes for a big one with double, triple, backflip, 360, 180, another 180, 180, backflip, and a big vocal shout because he loved that combination. Good opener from Roberto Mariani. In 2018, racked up 100 points, third. With a 4-point lead, he had 1 DNS in Sharjah, which was a tough break in that second moto. Wasn't able to complete that one. Landing in the tray. Best finish was Olbia in Sharjah with the second. All right, he's got a bunch of fast transitions here. Now he is going to be one of the riders that you're going to see quite a bit of old school tricks as well. So he does new tricks and old school. And some of the stuff you haven't seen in a while, it's going to be really fun. All right, nice backflip as he completes yet another combination. You're watching Roberto Mariani on the water. Another fast flat water transition. Backflip, 180, 180. Backflip, nose stabbed, rode it out, just skimmed the nose. That is also much harder than it looks. All right, there's some of the old school I talked about. Full on super sub, nose stab. Oh, but wait, he's got more. Setting up his own wake. And there is the running man. That's a signature move for Roberto Mariani. Now, the technical call for that would be a throw. We would call that a throw, but he's added his own little flair to it. Now, that is a fountain, and that is one of the first tricks that we used to watch. Back when they competed on 550s in the freestyle class, and the fountain was one of the popular moves. Now, the only difference is back then they would turn the fountain on the crowd. Roberto is much more polite than that. Nice barrel roll, and he tail spins it out. Gonna lock in again. $180, backflip. Oh, one-hander lander. Nice. And he made that look real effortless. It's not. Nice backflip. 180, 180. Backflip. All that and his hair never gets messed up. I don't understand it. Another little flare, and there's the throw that I was talking about, and you can see what I mean on the degree of difficulty. It is pretty easy to have that ski actually come back on you. Great job for Roberto Mariani and completing that one with that big throw. Put your hands together one more time for Roberto Mariani from Italy. As you can tell, he's the shy, quiet type. And of course, because they just hate freestyle so much, right as he came back over here to more of the crowd, he gave a gratuitous backflip just for fun. I swear, these guys are the princes of personality. Ambassadors of air, the freestyle riders. Our next competitor joining us for the first time on the tier, aboard an X1 machine. That is Niels Wellens from Belgium. 24 years awesome. He was born and currently lives in Antwerp, works as a jet ski performer and a motorcycle instructor. Enjoys skydiving, riding, and of course all kinds of motorsports. And yep, you guessed it, freestyle happens to be a pretty big passion. Now, I want to point out something because it's the first time you've seen it, and he has a pair of super flip bars on the front of that. Nice little hood grab on his opener, which was a backflip, quick 180, followed by a backflip and a series of 180s, another backflip, 180, 180 backflip. Oh yeah, nice combination for the opening on this routine. Had the privilege of watching him on the European Tour where he took that win. Started out in the amateur division. No-hander on that 360. We could also call that a barrel roll. Quick 180, another nice transition. Goes into a very clean series of backflips, 2 of those. Transition move and a barrel roll almost completes. Niels, by the way, is riding an X1 machine by Compositech. And the engine underneath that hood, yep, you guessed it, it's another DASA, built by Kyle Dassa over in the US. Another nice little setup. Wow, that was pretty off-camber barrel roll, and he landed it. Follow that up with a backflip. That was pretty, and that had some technical difficulty to it. Oh, is he teasing with those super flip bars or not? If it doesn't happen today, I guarantee you should grab a seat on the front row tomorrow, because watching a super flip for the first time is pretty wicked. That is, oh, that's going to do it. Sound like something going on with the boat. Tough break for Niels Willems. Woohoo! Still amazing routine for this gentleman out of Belgium. A part of Team No Fear energy drink. By the way, he's an official Compositech factory test rider. Still wanting to try to complete with anything he can. They're a little old school. By the way, if you get up on the hood of the boat or on the side of the boat, we call that bulldogging. You're actually bulldogging on the boat, just like a competitor in a rodeo. And that is another old school trick. But yeah, Neil's definitely having some problems with the engine. He can get it going, but a fantastic competitor. It's so great to have him out here. And yep, might have to get a piggyback ride back home. And course marshal's going to come home and give him an Uber lift. Only $2, no extra charge. Ride with the UIM Uber Tour today. I'm just kidding, we don't have Uber. But how cool would it be if we did? All right, special thanks to our course marshals for being right on that. They're going to give Niels Willems a quick ride back. I had a couple of quick questions on the feed. By the way, thank you so much, Ep Eprouse, for the feedback. Love you too. And Shanine Eber was asking about Yosef Abdul-Razak, and did he get points? Yeah, he was up in that top 20. I'll let you know what kind of points he got for it. But did look like Yosef Abdul-Razak was able to complete that 25-minute moto. Thanks again for joining us on that live feed. And one more time, put your hands together for Niels Willems from Belgium. Never comes up with anything less than a smile. Again, this is his first time on the World Championship Tour. You've been watching the action on the UIM-ABP Aquabike World Championship Grand Prix of Portugal. This is our first stop of a big year of racing. We're going here, and then in a couple weeks we'll be in Olbia for a big run where we'll be joined by the GP3s and the GP2 racers, and then we're going from there on a bit of a trek across the globe over into China, followed by a stop in India, and then we are wrapping her up in December right back in Sharjah. Up next, gentleman that came in third yesterday, Yaroslav Turner on that Team Extreme design boat. Team Extreme out of Florida, and they put together some pretty awesome machines. Yaroslav out of the Czech Republic in 2017 got a fourth, and he wastes no time in the opening routine. Big barrel roll into 2 backflips. No stabs, rides it out. Well done. That is not easy to do when that boat goes underwater, and then on top of that, it goes in on an off-camber situation. Going to go fast into another transition. 180, 180. Yet another 180. Well, we'll just make this 10 in a row. Back flip. nose stab, and rides that out. Does not lose those handlebars. Now, anytime that you lose the handlebars, that is a deduction in points. Another good setup. Barrel roll, 360, 180, backflip. Nice combination, does complete. Little flat spin. Again, not really going to get points for that, but they're fun transitions and they're great for you and I because they're so much fun to watch. It's 2 360s, make it 3, 180, backflip. Squared off with that buoy. I was impressed that he went for it. Sometimes on those backflips, you actually travel forward as well, which would have put his nose right in the middle of the right buoy, but great control on that ride and that final part of the combination. Another little setup wake. Beautiful throw. That's called a Ghost Rider. Nicely done. And that is probably one of the tricks that helped him yesterday rack up the points. Those throws have a big degree of difficulty for him, and they definitely help you with the points. But they are hard to do, and it's pretty easy to eat a handle pull. Big barrel roll. Almost went for a second part of that combination. Now, you'll notice as a standard operating procedure, all of the competitors typically come out here with wetsuits, whether you're in closed course or freestyle. You notice a lot of the closed course riders, all of those riders have helmets. You're not required to wear a helmet in freestyle. Nice backflip. Some of the competitors choose to do so. That's a double. Another thing you'll see almost every competitor do, whether it's freestyle or closed courses, they're typically going to have gloves and a specific set of shoes. The reason for that is grippage. Last thing you want to do is lose control of the throttle. Nice setup, good combination, had a little twofer going. Backflip, rode it out. Now you're seeing water come out of the side of the boat, those little spitters. What that does is it prevents too much water from getting in the machine. You can see with all of the super subs that these guys do throughout these routines, it's imperative that they have a way of getting that water back out and away from the engine. So that's what that little series of spitters is doing on the side of the boat, is it is allowing that water to get right back out. And there's actually a pump forcing that water back out of the hood. All right, that is going to complete the routine for Yaroslav Turner. Put your hands together for it one more time. Great job for this rider from the Czech Republic. But wait, there's more. Uno más. Well, actually, there's still more after. Wow, I don't even know what's happening in the photography department right now, but fortunately, you're not seeing it on the live stream. I'm just kidding. Oh, we did catch it on video, so that worked out. So even though we're almost done with freestyle, we're still not done with the show. We've got the Parallel Slalom Challenge going to be happening tonight at 8 o'clock, and then we're going to have a live expression session, and that's where the freestylers get the opportunity to come back out for another 10 to 15 minutes, and they get to do what we call an expression session, which means it's a free-for-all, super fun, great photography opportunity. The one and only, our defending world champion, making his way over to the judges, Rashid Al-Mula. And he is like the human pinball machine. Get ready to count in high numbers, because these opening combinations tend to be no less than 12 tricks in a row. It's going to be awfully fun to watch. Get your camera ready. It's Rashid Al-Mula, your world champion from last year. He was undefeated at every stop in 2018 on the UIM-ABP Aquabike World Championship Tour. And on top of that, he's one of the more humble people you'd ever get a chance to meet, and a absolute pure lover of freestyle and jet skiing. And you can see him as he gets set up. Wants to make sure it's right, because once it gets locked into this combination, they are typically fairly big combos. And off we go. Opener is a massive barrel roll into a backflip. 2 for 1, 3 for 1 special, 4, 360 into another backflip, but he's going to walk those backflips right up to the crowd. I actually thought he was going to keep going. I think he was being light on that one. I think he's saving it for tomorrow, honestly. Still, great opener combination, 8 tricks in a row. Rides for Team Abu Dhabi. And kaboom, 1 footer and a 1 footer lander. He had a 65-point lead as he went into the final round last year in Sharjah. That was in 2018. In 2017, he still weighed to the podium with a 3rd overall. His best finishes were in Dubai and Sharjah. And there's another massive combination from Rashid Al Mullah from Team Abu Dhabi. That was a bit of a bunny hop. That's the first time I've seen him do that. That might have been a start of a new trick. I do know he had some new tricks this year. Typically, they don't really like to show that until the last day. They may give you 1 or 2, but it's usually their final routines where they really come out with all of the new stuff. So hopefully he may give us a little bit of a teaser today on some of these new works he's been doing. That is a big throw and a can flip, and then a 1-footer back flip. And he typically does a series of those, and that, again, you just saw. Can flip, by the way, looks just like it sounds. The gentleman or lady is actually kicking your leg out in front and to the side as you're completing the backflip, like a can. All right, setting up in front of the crowd. Nice wake, 540. Backflip, backflip, backflip. Backflip, barrel roll off camber. No-hander lander. Nicely done. And the cross flag's coming out, indicating that you only have a few more seconds left on the clock. One thing I want to let you guys know, if he starts the routine and the whistle goes off, he's allowed to count part of that. Another can flip, back flip, 1-footer back flip, 2-footer back flips, 3 barrel roll, back flip. Nice. Now, if the whistle goes when he starts the combination, I actually wasn't able to get started on it, but if that whistle had waited till he started, he'd be able to complete the combination, and that combination in full would count for his overall score. Unfortunately, that whistle went before he was able to start it. But again, put your hands together for Rashid Al Mullah, your defending world champion. Sponsored by Team Abu Dhabi. Woohoo! Amazing, very talented rider from Dubai. I'm Dawn Dawson. On behalf of all of us on the Aquabike Tour, I want to thank you so much for joining us for day number 2. You've been watching the UIM-ABP Aquabike World Championship Grand Prix of Portugal. We'll be back with the final motos tomorrow afternoon starting at 3. Don't you miss it. I'm Dawn Dawson, and for the rest of the crew, including Case Productions, thanks for hanging with us. We'll see you mañana.